Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite monsters, thrillers. What? That's not right. I was like, whoa.
We're breaking down the monsters. Spooky Tuesday versus monster.
I was like, oh my god, brain. What are we doing?
Oh my god, we're the heroes. We beat the monsters and break them down.
We're gonna run it back.
Yeah, we're running it back. Pretend like none of this has happened because I probably won't edit it out because it's adorable.
They love to see the outtakes.
They do. We're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I just want to say that's what happens when I don't read it.
When you try to go off script.
Yeah, I mess it up every time.
You forgot slashers.
You gotta stay on book.
Yeah,
and this is the slasher. Kind of. So we can't skip that.
We've been doing this for 5 years, and I
didn't even notice that you skipped slashers. I was just like, haha, she said monster instead of monster movie.
We're breaking down monsters.
Fighting the monsters.
Anyway, who are you?
Word of K-pop demon hunters.
Hey, beautiful blonde. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Cindy Thompson.
I'm Monica Hyatt.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week, it is, you would never believe this, our 5th season finale. And we are just figuring out how to do the title sequence, and that's fine. Sometimes you have to reinvent it every time, and it's going to be beautiful. Now, today we're breaking down monsters. And we will.
Technically, we are.
The monster is capitalism and masculinity
and reservations
and the Sigma male. Sorry to bring that up already. But anyway, we are doing a modern classic. It is 2000's American Psycho. And I'm excited to dive into this with y'all because, wow, what a rewatch this was. But let me do the IMDb log line right off the bat, and then we can get into it. A wealthy New York City investment banking executive, Patrick Bateman, hides his alternative. I can't read.
We're having a day, okay?
Is it the glasses?
I can't read through the glasses. It's like, honestly, I'm very disoriented right now because I think my ring light's too bright also. Anyway.
That's why you need the glasses.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Patrick Bateman hides his alternate psychopathic ego from his coworkers and friends as he delves deeper into his violent, hedonistic fantasies. It was saying alternate. I could not say that word, and it was very hard for me. Alternate psychopathic ego. That's a hard one. Those are a lot of different consonants to say.
It's an extra word in there for sure.
It's an extra word in there that I wasn't anticipating. And anyway, I wasn't anticipating to, 1, love this movie so much this time around, and 2, immediately hate the way that anyone, anywhere has felt about it ever in the history of all time and all interpretations except for what we do today on the podcast.
Okay. I was like, are we all fighting?
No, we're going to be fine. Some people have a lot of very interesting things to say, but I just am like, the world is cursed because whoever watches this movie and has a positive take on Patrick Bateman, I just really...
They're missing.
I don't want to hold your hand. I just think that you didn't watch it and you just looked at how hot Christian Bale is. And I get that. But every actor is hot like 99% of the time. So like, are you new? Is this your first movie? Like, I don't know what to say.
They went hot, rich, fucks bitches. See all I need to see, baby. And it's like,
Great apartment.
Well of dissatisfaction and unhappiness that he wrestles with constantly. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah,
it's not a happy ending for him.
No, he's not happy, and like everyone fucking hates him and thinks he's a chump. Did you miss that part? I don't
Right.
know what you're. I don't know
Well,
what's going
he's
on.
essentially a nepo baby, also, which I
Oh
never
yeah,
caught until the second watch. Actually, I was like, "Oh, okay, great."
yeah. It's
Yeah.
such a throwaway line, and I'm gonna fess up right away because at the end of last episode, I said maybe I'll read the book, and maybe I'll torture myself in that regard because the book has a lot more bad, horrible, horrific shit as far as the treatment of women. The murders are much more diabolical. There's a lot of trigger word coming, rape that happens all the time, really horrifically. And so I got about 3 hours into the book listening to it at 2.4 speed today. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to wake up. First thing I do, put my laptop on my tummy, watch 2 hours of this movie, then go to therapy, helpful, and then immediately go back to listening to it for 8 fucking hours straight before watching the movie again and then doing the podcast on it. I wasn't going to do that. And so I didn't do that. And I'm sorry to Bret Easton Ellis because it seemed like it's a good book. But we're not, I don't have that beautiful compare contrast for you today, but I've done my best with my research. But yeah, I mean, the book itself is giving like a different picture, I think, also than what the movie is. I've read a lot of different people's takes where they're saying that you can't really, like, the movie doesn't catch all of the nuance because you're not constantly in Patrick Bateman's head. And I think that it's interesting because they do a lot of like first person narrative, like the thoughts of Patrick Bateman being like said as a narrator throughout this movie. But like it is very different reading the book as much as I did compared to the movie because the like obsessive nature of this guy with like the brands of clothing that everyone is wearing, it's just like it's like a tick. It's like every second, like 99% of the book is him being like, and here is Genevieve, and she's wearing Balmain, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not Balmain. I have no idea. But he lists every single brand that everyone is wearing every time a new character comes on. And I was only a couple hours in. It's a lot. That's why it's such a long book because he's just describing everybody's fit the whole time. It's crazy.
Don't they
It's
also
giving Gossip
describe like
Girl.
all the weird food that they eat?
Yes.
Because they
I
do
heard
that
that
throughout
too.
the movie too, and you're like listening to some of this, and you're just like, all this food sounds horrible, and
Apparently, a lot of this is just 80s vibes.
but it's probably so expensive also because like it's a
Pay
cool place
$200 for raspberry coulis on your steak.
for peanut butter soup with roasted duck.
That
I do
sounds
like
good.
peanut butter sauce. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Peanut butter soup,
I'm open to it.
duck gives me the shits every time, and
It is very rich.
yeah.
But it's just I don't know. I hadn't seen this movie. I don't even know how long it's been. I think I was like a young babe when I first saw it, like maybe in high school. Not a child. A child me would have run for the hills. Um, but like I knew the like disparity between like the point of the movie and the director's intent, the writer's intent, and like the way people are taking Patrick Bateman to be this star. But like even from the first fucking second, this movie is just absolutely roasting everyone who's in it. I just like don't know how you missed that. It's so obvious. Like literally from moment one, it's hysterical. They just are all these yuppies that are so up their own ass. They are so following this like rule book of how to look and how to act and all these things that they can't even tell each other apart. It's crazy.
Well,
They can't tell a single one of them apart. Keep going. Sorry.
all look the same.
They
And
all look the exact same, except for Justin Theroux because he's wearing blue eye contacts.
here's the thing also too, and as somebody who went to a state school in the South where like fraternities are huge, all of these guys just remind me of like a fraternity bro that wears the exact same thing, and you literally cannot tell them apart ever. They all have the same names, they all drive the same cars, they're all wearing the same fucking fugly ass khaki shorts and weird, like, you know, widespread panic fraternity t-shirt. And this is just like even richer this is city that.
This is Northeastern that.
Yeah. This
Yeah,
is
no,
Ivy League that.
It's just like to be different, to do something different, to make your own choices. It's like, what are you, gay? So you
Yeah.
can't do that.
And yeah, he
You
is
can't do
gay,
that.
by
You
the way.
have to conform, and he is gay. And
He is gay.
there's
We'll
he's
get
not the
there.
only one. You have to conform, or they're gonna be like, gay loser. But also by conforming, you make yourself completely interchangeable with everyone else there, to the degree that people are shit talking you to your face because they don't believe that you are who you are saying that you are. And they're like, that guy's a fucking loser. And you're like, but I am that guy. And they're like, don't worry about it. Like, it's not even don't worry about it. It's just like, we're shit talking everyone because we're in constant competition with each other, but also there's no winning the competition because we're all doing the exact same choices. Everything is the same except for one guy is doing murders, but even that can't set him apart from the crew.
No, totally. It's so interesting, and I know I've brought this up on an episode before when we dived into toxic masculinity. But I took this class in college that was like what is it? What was it called? It was like gender and communication, I think. And I mean, when did I go to college? Some unknown amount of time ago that I won't reveal. It was like 10 years ago. So that there you go. Now you know. So things have definitely been a little like this was not like as up to date as it could be. Like it's dated now, but there's this concept of like the man box. And it's like a way that men are socialized, where it's like within these like strict structures. Like there's like a small box, which is like the field within like you can be an acceptable man, and it's a very stringent structured thing, and there's not room to go outside of that box because like exactly like you're just saying, you go outside the box, that's rather queer of you. And it's like it's masculinity, it's like being macho, it's being dressing right, speaking right, not being too emotional, being strong, being like attractive to women and all this stuff. And it's like a difficult line to walk for sure. Don't worry, we're gonna be also not super nice to men on this episode, I'm sure. But like it is, I can understand that that is like a really hard thing to like not have any space within these structures to like find individuality without being like immediately called queer or whatever.
Process your emotions in a healthy capacity.
Exactly.
This is the blueprint for looks maxing.
I don't know what that means.
It's like an incel internet term where they literally do this. They like focus on their skincare, their like their physical appearance, because
do you guys
like
remember? Oh, sorry, you keep talking.
no, keep going.
When it was like all of a sudden being metrosexual was a word that everybody was using, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, men are taking care of themselves now, but it doesn't make them gay.
They're just
It just makes them
metrosexual.
metrosexual.
That was such a thing in
Yeah.
the early aughts.
Oh yeah. So right when this
Maybe that was
movie
also-
came
yeah.
out, yeah. But it's
It's all
set
the
in the
building blocks for
80s,
looks
so
maxing.
different. But yeah, I mean that's also the same thing as the whole Sigma male thing. Like, oh my god,
What is a Sigma male? I know
Okay.
I've heard of Sigma
Oh.
face because my 7-year-old nephew has heard of Sigma face. Which as I gather is some sort of man thing where they make us honestly very stupid looking face.
What
but I
was
could
what it was what you just said?
Sigma face?
Oh,
like,
I don't know what Sigma face is. I read this article. It's
they do
linked
their
in
eyebrows.
the.
It's like,
Oh,
I
that's
always
duck
thought like
face. That's Blue Steel from Zoolander. It's what he just did.
kind of, but it looks
I don't
stupider on
know.
these men. Here, I'll send you a
Well,
screenshot.
I read this whole article. I'll look up exactly which one it is 1 second. But in my notes, I have this quote from GQ, which says what a Sigma male is. So Sigma males are, quote, self-sufficient loners that attract extremely good-looking women, but aren't interested in them. And in keeping with society's growing fixation with productivity, they are capitalist hustlers. So it's kind of
They're
like
too
the
busy with their
grind set.
finances to fuck.
No, I mean it's not even that. It's like
but when they do fuck, they get really hot bitches.
I don't fuck, but don't worry, I am desirable.
Yeah.
it's not that they don't fuck. It's like I don't know. It's it's like
They
okay,
don't
how do
respect
I
women.
Well, yeah. Let me think for
Okay.
1 second. Hold on. It's like they're so like locked in. It's like the grind set thing. So they're like incredibly like dialed in to their looks, their appearance, and their work. And because of that, they give off the Sigma energy that attracts all of the hot, sexiest women that exist. So, like, this article was really interesting. It was diving into like some people who have like been unwitting influencers in the Sigma space and ones who have wittingly done it, like Andrew Tate. Oh, hate that bitch, the worst
Blech.
person in the world. But like unwittingly, also a bad guy, Mark Wahlberg, like goes on social media, talks about how he gets up at 2:30 in the morning, works out for 90 minutes, does his prayers and a round of golf all before breakfast at 9 a.m. And like The Rock is also like honed in on his body and like his insane like fitness routine that he did to be in like his perfect shape, and then he like goes like he's got a schedule that's crazy. He has a regimen. It's like Patrick Bateman in this movie. They have that whole opening montage, not the very very opening, but the first montage we get of him where he explains his routine like
He
with
does
his
his get
face
ready with me
and his
video.
skin and his cooling mask, which not for me being influenced by Patrick Bateman like all these other men, but I do want to get one of those.
Toxic.
I do want to get one of those. I feel like those look nice and comfortable. I don't know.
For your
Only that
1,000
part.
crunches.
You think I'm gonna do 1,000 crunches, girl? No, I fell down a flight of stairs over the weekend and hurt my hip. I can't do a single crunch right now. But like it's that thing. It's like this obsession with like honing yourself into this like perfect version of masculinity, and with that like it will like trigger this sort of like evolutionary response in women where like that's the most powerful man, and so they'll be attracted to them, and then the sigmas will mate with the hot sexy women in the world, and it'll create like a whole new create like a new race of beautifully great people, blah blah blah. It gets into weird fucking racist shit really fast also.
Man.
um
Yeah.
of course, of course. But like, oh my God. Get a hobby. I don't know. Jesus Christ. That
It's
sounds like a miserable
okay
existence.
if skincare is your hobby,
Yeah.
but don't be weird about it.
No, his skin looks great. I'm breaking out right now. I get it. I want to do one of those masks where it pulls out all the shit in your pores. I need to do one. And I love those types of masks being used as a horror element. I think that's fantastic because they are
Right.
really
He's
freaky.
shedding his skin. We don't really
Yes.
know him.
Yeah, my research for the movie, I didn't even look at IMDb trivia, so don't expect any of that today. But I found the director's commentary on YouTube. So I watched the movie, and then I watched like half of it with the director's commentary overlaid, and then I was driving, so I could only listen to the second half like podcast style.
Hmm.
But the director, Mary Harron, did some really interesting commentary, and she said the mask shot in the beginning, they did that in one take. She was really worried it wasn't going to work, that it was going to come apart in pieces, but it peeled off like perfectly, one take, one piece. And it's gorgeous. And she said about that whole thing, let me find my notes. I took notes when I was watching it. She said that the mask thing is like one of the seminal shots in the movie or something like that.
Definitely.
Okay, never mind. Maybe not. Might have made that up. But I'm sure she said that in my heart.
No, it is, I think, for sure. Because that's one of the most, I mean, it starts off really strong. That's one of the most powerful quotes from the movie. And I think it's like verbatim from the book. They take a lot of the exact quotes from Bret Easton Ellis's books, and that's exactly the dialogue. They change the settings a little bit, but like the what they say is so ridiculous. It's perfectly pulled from the book a lot of the time.
Yeah, okay, I found my notes on that section. Sorry, it's just like further in to the
Okay.
movie than I remembered. And she said, yeah, first of all, the design for his apartment was all like very specific and incredible. She says everything looks like a photograph out of Architectural Digest, no personal details. The kitchen is stainless steel like a morgue.
It does look like a
And
morgue.
yeah, the get ready with me putting on the mask is the one thing the movie is about, is what she said. The first take in the mask pull is perfect all in one. It reveals both his face and another mask underneath it, if you will. And quote, that's the most crucial image in the film.
No,
Mhm.
totally. And it's so interesting too. I just think that whole monologue is so interesting. Like so much of it is just silly. It's just details, just details. Not every word has some sort of meaning, but the meticulous nature in which he describes every single thing that he's doing. And something that I thought was really intriguing was the second time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, this is the quote. I live in the American Gardens building on West 81st Street on the 11th floor. My name is Patrick Bateman." Before he even says his name, he's dropping clout with
Here's my
where he
status
lives
symbol.
Yep.
on the 11th floor, this super fancy, like almost the top of the building, like that, like showing his station as a rich, wealthy, successful man is more important to him than his literal identity, because that is his identity over his anything coming from him organically. And that, I think that's the crux of the movie too. Like his first monologue, he's given it all away. He's like, the way that like people see me, this status symbol is more important than my name.
Yeah. It's so interesting too because that's not the first time we meet him. When we first meet him, they have that opening credits segment where it seems like the blood drips, but it's the raspberry
Yes.
coolie. And Mary
And it
Harron
looks like
said,
the fucking card. It looks like the what is that called? Oh my god,
business
what can't I
card.
remember? Business card. Fuck.
Mhm. Nobody
What
has
is it?
those
What is it?
anymore.
What is that? Business? Oh yeah,
The card for
business.
business. I'm sure it has a name.
Somebody asked me for my card the other day, and I was like, "Oh, I have
Oh.
my Instagram."
I have a Spooky Tuesday sticker you can have with all the ways to contact me.
Yeah.
There you go.
That does a job, I think.
Yeah.
My stepbrother had his first like big boy job out of college basically, so he has like a business card, and so we exchanged, and I did give him a Spooky Tuesday sticker. I go, here you go, queen.
Here you go. Yeah. Yeah, but that opening sequence, they came up with it later on, and she was like very excited about it when she came up with it later. But then it opens into that restaurant, and that's really your first impression, is that they're all the same, they're all identical, they're all interchangeable with each other. And then later he's trying to be like, and here's what makes me different. And it's not much longer in the movie that he learns about where, like, what's his face lives, Paul Allen, and is like, shit, that's better than mine. It's like there's this constant competition of being like, I'm the best, blah 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 blah. And they can't even go completely full out with it in the movie because all of the brands that are mentioned and stuff like that, they had to get clearance from those brands
You're
to be included.
right.
And so there's that one moment in the bed later with the two sex workers where he says, like, don't touch the watch. And in the book, it's don't touch the Rolex, but they couldn't get clearance for Rolex. And Mary Harron, the director, was so bummed that they could. She's like, it just doesn't have the same zing to just say the watch.
Yeah, no,
Also-
because he would never like if you're
You
a
would never
watch
call
guy,
it a
you're
watch
a
if it's
fucking
a
watch
Rolex.
It had a
guy.
brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like the bag that he puts Jared Leto, Paul Allen's like body
Mhm.
in. It's like John Paul
Gaultier.
Gaultier, but it was supposed to be like a higher end
Comme de
brand.
garçon.
Yeah, and they were like, no, you can't have
Couldn't
a
get it.
body in
Oh
my
my god.
bag.
No, it's
Jean-Paul
like
was a homie for that, though, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else
Yeah.
about him, but
no, he
Calvin
is a
Klein
homie.
pulled out of all the undies, and so all the underwear are Perry Ellis.
Calvin Klein loser behavior for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Calvin Klein
super loser
like,
behavior.
crying in the air after this movie came out.
But also, I think, like, Calvin Klein, maybe it's just because the whole My Calvin's message has made it all the way through popular culture. I feel Calvin Klein not fancy enough for American Psycho.
Mm.
Maybe in the
I don't
80s it
know
was
about
Yeah,
about
probably in the 80s it was
underwear
more.
styles back in
All
the
I
day.
know is in Gossip Girl, she always says she's wearing La Perla lingerie. And I
Yeah, but-
filed that away in middle school. And so I expect them to be doing similar level of brand
know.
engagement.
What's the like she men's panty? Because one thing I do love about this is the tidy whities.
Ooh, yeah, those
I
look really
like
good.
a man in a
I don't
tidy
know.
whitey.
Because like in all of the parts of the book that I listened to, he wasn't describing any men in their underpants, at
That was
least
for
yet.
the girls, because apparently, according to the trivia, the first shower scene where we see his beautiful backside, every woman on set was like there watching, and I was like,
Mary
you know
Harron
what?
said that. Yeah.
So funny. Oh my god.
Valid.
Dude.
Apparently, he worked very hard to get his body into this shape for this movie.
He full
That's
on committed. He stuck to Patrick. I'm like,
Legend.
what is I wanted to call him Paul Bateman, and I'm like, that's wrong.
Paul Allen, Patrick Bateman, even
yeah.
their names are interchangeable.
Right. He stuck to his morning routine the entire time they were filming this, and I was like, good God.
So Sigma of him. I don't know what I'm saying when I say that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
That's because Monica's fully embraced Sigma male culture
She's
right now,
becoming,
actually.
yeah, she's too deep
Yeah.
undercover.
No, I too am a method actor, and so I've changed everything about myself, and now I'm Patrick. It's just crazy. Also, like, I didn't look this up, but like Bateman, Bates Hotel, Psycho, American Psycho. I don't know.
Masturbating.
Yeah.
Masturbating. No one's talking about that part. Whoa, big.
Masturbate,
wait.
man, more like.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up really quickly is Bret Easton Ellis. So that's the writer of the book. Who, by the way, pigeon pin in this. He's gay. Pigeon pin. We'll come back to it anyway. But also he went to school at the same time. Where did he go to school? That would have been good to look up.
Harvard.
He went. Do you know that? I don't think it was Harvard. I think it was.
I feel like
smaller
she's
school.
guessing based on the movie, and that would also
Oh,
have been
no.
my guess
No,
based
no,
on
no.
the movie.
So he went to Bennington College, and he went there at the same time as another well-known author. And that author is Donna Tartt. And if you're not familiar with Donna Tartt also wrote a very interesting book, very beautiful book that inspired a movie that we did a 3-hour-long episode on. And that was The Secret History, which was my book club pick for my book club this year. So you should read it. It's really interesting. But it was about, like, it was based on Bennington College, where they both went together. And it was like the whole thing with The Secret History inspired Saltburn in part. Sorry, I didn't say that.
I know. I was like, when did we do The Secret History?
No, there's no Secret History movie. Well, maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked that up.
They did The Goldfinch, I think.
Yeah, Donna also did the Goldfinch. I have not read the Goldfinch though. But yeah, Secret History is about like based on Bennington College. It's this like small, like very, very fancy school with a lot of very rich privileged kids there, and like the ridiculous things that they get up to and get away with, like when you have that much money and that much privilege. And so that's like the inspiration for The Secret History. And then Bret Easton Ellis also went to that exact same school. And then he writes this book, which has a lot of similar themes, with Patrick Bateman being this person who's reached a level of power and wealth and opportunity where like he literally can't be caught. Like even if he's like, here's a dead body and I just killed it, like he cannot be punished for these sort of things. So it's like really an interesting like deep dive into like just how far this like nepo baby privilege is getting these people. I don't know. I thought that was really cool detail that Adam brought up because he's read both books.
Another
But
thing
yeah,
about the Nepo detail that's interesting, if I may, unless you were still on that same subject.
no, it's okay. We can talk about Bret Easton Ellis being gay later. It'll come back up, I
Yeah. Although
promise.
I saw he was in the Literary Brat Pack, which Donna Tartt is also associated with, and he's from Los Angeles, and he lived in Sherman Oaks before he moved to Manhattan. So
Shermtown, let's go. 818, baby.
Valley Girl.
But the fact that he's a Nepo baby, Patrick Bateman, is so interesting because Mary Harron talked on the director's commentary about how we never see him do any work in the movie. Not
No.
just like we don't see him doing it, but it's like he's literally sitting doing nothing in his empty office, nothing on his desk
No.
whatsoever. Everyone else in the office, well, he listens to music, but everyone else
to
is
music
like
and
buzzing.
looks at porn, Chelsea. That's hard
Everything
work.
else is
And he
buzzing around
doodles.
him. But she talked about how when he's not actively doing like his performance for anyone around him, it's like he literally does not know what to do with himself. Like he just sits there being like, who am I if I'm not putting on a mask for someone? And when we see him, he clearly has a connection with music, but when we see him like watching things like porn or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's because he's like studying. Like he doesn't, she said he's like an alien come to Earth almost. Like he doesn't know how to do anything, and he has to learn about everything by like modeling it after media. So looking at porn, watching porn, that's him like prepping for when he has these sex scenes.
No, totally. Like he's like, I think he was almost like recreating part of like entering Lydia's ass or whatever the name of that porn was. Which that
Who
name
cares
is
about
in the,
Lydia?
one of the is in the book. Okay, that
Yeah,
is in the book.
inside
So pull
Lydia's
direct from the
ass.
book inside Lydia's ass. No, I think it's so interesting also when he speaks about music. Like I know that he loves the music. He does love the music. It's only time he feels like himself. He loves Whitney Houston, okay? He loves Huey Lewis and the
That's his
News.
spirituality, is when he listens to Whitney Houston, and it's happiness with Huey Lewis and the News.
And Whitney Houston would not let her music be in this movie.
They did an
So
orchestral
funny.
cover.
I was like, yeah, she's not singing. I just think like I don't know if you guys came across this in your research. I didn't get around to looking this specifically up, but like it felt like he was reading somebody else's review verbatim that he had memorized of the music. Like it was so polished. It sounded like something. I know like some people are just great orators and can just pull a beautiful speech out, just like us. So of
I know,
course
he's
I
like, you should have a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, please. That leads us into more Sigma talk. There's a lot of Joe Rogan chat in the article I read about Sigmas. So
Yeah, but
there you go.
nobody's giving Patrick Bateman for how woke he is in the beginning of the movie.
He doesn't mean it
Oh.
though. He's just like
No,
spewing
but that's the thing.
talking points, like a classic. I don't want to say like a lot of men when they are like, oh no, let's do like, I know this is what I'm supposed to say. And then they don't actually believe any of it.
But he is lecturing his friends. He's not trying to impress a girl or anything. So it is interesting to me that
Well,
he's
see-
like, this is what I'm performing.
Yeah, but men really only care about the opinion of other men always. So this
I
is like
know,
right on
I'm
track.
just saying, him performing that for them is interesting, though, because it does alienate him from them to a degree.
But it also makes him, I don't know,
The
I can
ideal.
understand why he's doing, well, it makes him the ideal. He's the boy next door. He's like better than the other men because he's not a dog. And also, I think he's trying to like wax moralistic, or like wax like he has morality, when because he is a murderer and he is a psychopathic, sociopathic,
What do you
whichever way
mean?
you
But
want
he
to
talks
say it,
about traditional
killer.
moral values.
And so he's like, no, I have morality. See, I'm talking about it all the time. I'm stopping you from being anti-Semitic. So you'd never think it would be him because he's the least hound doggy of the hound dogs. So I
That's
felt
true.
like
Also,
that.
his speech that I was just talking about, I realize is from later in the movie when there were girls there. So
Oh yeah. Well, when he says the anti-Semitic, like stopping him
that's
from
when
being
just the
anti-Semitic,
boys.
that's
Yeah.
just with the boys. Um, he's like, no, there's other reasons to hate him, not because he's Jewish. I did think it was really funny when the guy was like, he was spinning his menorah, and I was like, you dumb fucking bitch, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Get the fuck down.
But like, what was I gonna say? Yeah, well, I don't know. I could watch this scene a couple more times to and really read the monologue that he gives. But when he does have that conversation with when Reese Witherspoon is there, when they're at dinner with the hot artist. I'm sorry, I don't know anyone's name. There are literally so many
Vanden
characters,
and her
and
boyfriend, blah blah blah, or whatever.
exactly, yeah.
Reese's
But when
cousins.
he's like talking about, yeah, like Reagan and like everything that's going on. I just feel like he was listing things and they didn't like line up with a certain ideology. Like it didn't like seem like the things he was saying that needed to change like all matched up together with like someone who was a Democrat or who was a Republican or something.
He's the
It was
perfect
like
political middle of
incongruent
the
things.
aisle. You have to be
Yeah.
socially conscious, but also traditional moral values.
Yeah. Yeah, so that like he was saying like two like dichotomous things like in this, I don't know. So it didn't seem, again, it didn't seem like he was just saying big words really loud, you know, like I do. And so like
Someone
it makes you
expressed a
sound
moral
really smart.
concern, and he brought up a bunch of other moral concerns to basically just be like, shut up.
It felt like a filibuster. It was like, I'm just gonna say a bunch of words and everybody's gonna be tired and they're gonna be like, I don't know what he's fucking saying. I'm not listening. And then the cutie gay boy is gonna be like, oh, that's so sweet.
Aw, stop it, Patrick. You've got a heart of gold.
Patrick, you babe. Ugh, why did they give Justin Thoreau, aka Timothy Bryce, why did they give him the contacts? It was just really distracting for me the whole time. I didn't get further enough in the book. Maybe they don't call him Timmy. Maybe I'm calling him Timmy. Maybe Timmy's blue eyes were like a really big part of the book, and so it was very important for him to
I
have
didn't
those
even
contacts in.
notice them at all.
That's
didn't
all
notice
I could
them
think
either.
about. I thought about it the whole time. Does Justin Thoreau have those eyes? They looked weird.
Now I need to go
We just
Google it.
No, he doesn't have those eyes. It was contacts. I'm really good at spotting contacts. No, he doesn't have those eyes. His eyes are not like crystalline blue with like a dark circle around the outside. Oh my god. In Zoolander, Justin Thoreau is a DJ with like waist long dreads, by the way, in case you forgot about that. I was scrolling through his pictures on IMDb. Zoolander comes back up. There you go. Another Justin Thoreau through line. Yeah, that was distracting to me, but I don't know. He is such an interesting character though, Timothy Bryce, because he seems like the one person from the group that Patrick like respects, because he actually
he's in love
thinks
with
he's
him.
like really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's definitely in love with
He's
him.
the only interesting person I know.
He's the only interesting guy. He like does his own thing. He fucks my fiance, and I'm
And
okay
that's
with
why I
that.
like her.
And I love that about her.
She's fucking him, and that's why I keep her around.
Fair. Very fair. Yeah, I mean, it's so, I don't know. I feel like the queerness of this film is so obvious, or like maybe like just queer. I would just say queer in general, not necessarily like gay all the time, just like not straight for sure. Definitely there's some gay stuff happening for sure. But like Patrick is like so not interested in sex at all, though he does it all the time. That never once does he seem like he's like having a great time because he's fucking a woman. It's like, yeah, I look so hot right now. Cool. Look at me in the mirror with my muscles. He
I'm
does look so hot right
flexing.
now.
Yeah.
Or like it's in response to something upsetting happen. He's just like sorry, like pounding on somebody, like to like reach that gratification. I don't even know if it's like the sexual gratification, but to, like to feel like the straight maleness that he's supposed to feel when he's felt belittled in other ways. It's never like, I don't know, a traditional sexual experience. And I can't even imagine how far it goes in the book where it's a lot more graphic than that. I'm glad I didn't get to those parts, though I do want to read the book, and I think that I will.
Should we
Well,
book
too
club?
late. Ugh, yeah, we can book club. I'm not going
Yeah,
to listen to
Mary
it on
Harron.
2.4 speed, though. Whew, that was terrible.
No, that seems
Normal,
aggressive.
normal speed,
Rapid
baby.
fire, different brands of clothing. To me, attache case, like over and over again.
Mary Harron talked about the sex scene with the two sex workers as opposed to the one later with Elizabeth, but with quote unquote Christy and Sabrina.
Mhm.
And how in the books it really is like clear that he's kind of made his own like penthouse-esque fantasy scenario. He's creating like the fantasy that you read about as opposed to like a fantasy that he has. And they were
Yeah.
like, how do we convey this on screen? Because while they did do like voiceover to help bring the Patrick Bateman narrative to life on the screen, as opposed to like obviously the whole book is you're in his head,
His head,
which is just
yeah.
like a hard thing to adapt sometimes.
Yeah,
And I
totally.
think actually the Hunger Games President Snow book is like an interesting example of that, where it's like by not having any insight into his head in the movie, you like lose a lot of what you
Yeah.
get on
Oh
the
yeah, you
page
were
of that
saying
book.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so easy to just like look at him and be like, he's beautiful or
He's
whatever, instead of seeing him constantly being like,
horrifying in the
these
book.
this belongs to me and blah blah blah, and I hate this. Like his inner narrative is so ugly.
Yeah.
And so
So
they were
hot,
able to
so
find
ugly.
moments in this movie where they could include his inner voice, like in the spa scene is a great place to do that. But it's gonna really break the moment in a scene like this sex scene. So they had to find ways to communicate that, and like having him look at himself in the mirror was one of the ways that Christian Bale came up with her, to be like, he's not present there with them, he's looking at himself, he's coming up with the fantasy is what he's engaging with. Like showing it through the lens of the video camera was also a way to keep it like cold and distant and like clinical from the actual action.
Mhm.
The way he just like switches positions to be like, okay, like checking off his to-do list basically, rather than like enjoying an encounter of any kind.
Yeah. Oh my god. And the switch of that scene too is just so sickening. I'm glad they only show what they show. I mean, this movie would be fucking X-rated. It's already not rated. At
Well,
least the
it was
version I
originally
watched on Shudder.
an NC-17, and they had to like edit out a bunch of stuff to get an R rating.
Then we had to get only a glimpse of Dong.
Yeah. I will say
Just
though,
a glimpse.
I love the like glimpse of just pubic hair in
The little puff.
Yeah. I'm like, bring pubic hair back.
Just like a little puff. Which is so funny because the next shot, it's like you see so low down, and it like really is like they just gave him that. They must have like fluffed up his bush for that scene.
Or he was in a merkin.
Could have
Wow.
been a merkin.
Could have been a merkin.
Could have been a merkin.
It would not be Sigma to not have any pubes. What does he do? Wax?
Ugh. Everybody should have pubic hair that can have pubic hair.
Agree.
Especially
Big
men.
agree.
I'm always like, what are we doing here?
I know.
Something,
Give
something.
me a little happy
Trim
trail.
the
He loves-
bush. The tree looks taller, is what they say. But
Nobody cares.
you don't have to shave the bush.
Yeah. Come on. Also,
You don't have to
shaving is
uproot
so
the bush.
uncomfortable.
If there's no bush, your dick is tiny. So sorry. Those are the rules.
Anyway, we're a pro bush podcast. We've said this before. We'll say this again, and we specifically are here to talk about the male bush today.
Mhm.
And we're talking about the female bush all the time, but a little shine for the male
We
bush.
do not discriminate on bushes.
Then keep that thing. Keep that thing flowing. Okay. And now back to the movie. Anyway, we started talking about this when I was about to talk about like the horrific implied like rape scenes that happen in the movie. So a little dark switch there. But like the fucking like imagery of the oh god of the wire hanger, like of all of the things to be chosen, the wire hanger, there was a lot of fucked up shit in that horrible drawer of horrors, but like the wire hanger brings up so many like thoughts of other things that has been used for. And like we find out later on in the movie, like you see the girl who is called Sabrina like crying as she leaves, and Christy leaving as well, but we see Christy later and she like said she had to like get surgery or might have to get
She's gonna
surgery.
need surgery, yeah.
Like what the fuck, you know, like it's, and she looks okay, right? We're seeing her and she looks fine. And so what does that mean? It's just really, really scary. The ramifications of that. Oh, this is so on scene for my character. Terrible timing because I was talking about the scary rape part. Anyway, here's my martini.
Yes, what you need.
Wow. How is this so cold? Wow, he's really outdone himself.
Wow.
Wow. Wow, who made this? Ed Gein? That was not the Was that the bartender that they said that was? No, like he's like, oh, you know what Ed Gein says about
About women, yeah.
Like, oh, isn't that the maitre d'
bartender.
at blah blah blah? Or isn't that the bartender at blah blah blah? No, dumbass, it's a serial killer. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they did a good job with the parts where things, because it's such a like non-serious movie in a lot of ways. The tone is very comedic at times. I was laughing out loud when I was watching it this morning, but like also it hits these like really serious, like deeply depressing notes that kind of like stab you out of nowhere, you know. It's like a bitch slap. You're like in the middle of like the hilarity. Like obviously the sex scene that we were just describing was like very strange and doesn't feel comfortable to watch as a woman or as anyone, but it's also like hilarious when he's like, you know, doing his little muscle man show.
And when he's starting it too, being like, don't just look at it, eat it.
Yeah. It's like grotesque, but you laugh because you're like, oh my God. But then it just will switch to these moments of like really depraved shit.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that moment and then the whole interaction with the homeless man, that was like one of the most horrific parts of this movie too. Like he just shows his cards in these moments where you really see the depth of how deranged he is.
They did a lot of really big immediate vibe shifts in this movie, and Mary Harron really talked about how that was like one of the things that really struck her in the book that she wanted to get across, was how like you go from this super violent scene to this very like tranquil scene 1 second later. He's just like, the violence is there and it's present, but he's like so detached from it still. He like can't connect to anything. None of it like sinks in, that it's just like he can go from murdering someone 1 second to just like being in the spa or whatever the next. Like it just, there's no the way it jars the audience is so much the point of the movie.
Yes.
And
And they do that in the editing too. Like there's that scene. I'm going to make a stupid analogy after this, but here's something less stupid first. Like right after, what does he do? Oh, he's like, he literally peels off his fucking face and he's like,
Mhm.
there's nothing there. Whatever he says, that's very profound that I can't recall this
Patrick
time.
Bateman doesn't exist. There's an
Patrick
idea of
Bateman
Patrick
doesn't
Bateman,
exist.
some kind of abstraction, but there is no real me, only an entity, something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there.
Oh, so good. Fucking Christ. It's so good. And then it just cuts to this shot of New York City and it's like beep, beep, beep,
I'm walking on sunshine.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So funny. It reminds me now of that cut in Malignant when she's like, I'm not your sister or I'm adopted. That's what she says. And then all of a sudden it's like, wee and cuts to the like shot over Seattle. But yeah, like so those type of moments where it just like switches the vibe so hilariously, and it can do that either with like the content or like a lot of the time it's the soundtrack because the music that he loves so much is some of the goofiest shit of all time. But guess what, bitch? I too love Phil Collins. And so
I agree with what you were saying earlier about his music thing, though. Is like it does, even from the monologues themselves, as he's explaining his own thoughts, it feels very like learned the way that he connects with the music. Is like, I didn't get it at first, but then I learned to get it, and here's how I connect with it, and here's what I seek from it. So it does feel again like more of his modeling behavior. He's looking around to be like, what do other people do and what are other people getting out of things? Oh, okay. I will learn how to like academically search for and find
yeah,
that in here as well.
He would be absolutely the type of guy that would like watch something or do something and then go on Reddit and form opinions based on like other people's opinions instead of like coming to a conclusion on his own.
Man listens to Phil Collins' album one time, reads a pitchfork review of it, and starts explaining it to every woman that he meets.
Uh-huh.
yep, that part, that part. It's interesting though, because like I don't know. Obviously, I'm going on and on about these men who have really connected with Patrick Bateman in a way that is disgusting and makes no sense. And that's what I think is so interesting. Is like they're like, wow, he is the apex. He is that guy. He's so relatable because I want to be him and blah 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 blah. Like the ways in which Patrick Bateman is relatable are so not that to me because there are parts of his story where you're like, or you, I don't know. At least I can like find some points of relation besides the Phil Collins part. I already talked about that, but and not a big Huey Lewis in the News girl myself, but you know, but like the fact that he's like trying so hard to fit into this space in like in his workplace and like feeling like he has to like you know act a certain way and put on a face to be this person to be accepted and then to still find out that like he's not actually doing it well enough and everyone still thinks he's a freak loser.
He's
I
a
feel like
chud or whatever.
exactly. I feel like that is a relatable part of this, you know? That's something that you could see, but like the reasoning behind it isn't the same. It's not like he's trying to fit in because he's just like the average Joe who's like anyone is trying to like find social acceptance in the workplace. But he is like literally an empty shell of a human who is void of all humanity, and so he's putting on these other faces to reach that space. I don't know. It's just so hard for me to put myself in the shoes of these dudes who have this interpretation of the movie because I just feel like where the fuck are you getting it from? Like, did you watch it on mute?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not shocked to hear that stupid, macho, shallow, greedy, disrespectful men don't have good media literacy.
Shocking, I know.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean they're
Fair.
clearly just not
Fair.
engaging at all with the themes of the movie. It does feel very like they're watching it on mute and just going, "He looks happy to me," and it's like, first of all, don't
He
you see him
doesn't
breaking out into a
feel
sweat for 75% of the movie? So I don't know what
those
you're talking
veins that
about.
pop out of his face whenever he gets so anxious, like that
Okay,
vein, like Christian Bale should get paid extra just for that vein
here's
being
the thing.
so emotive.
Apparently, um, you know how people can like cry on command? He could sweat on command. And so he like made himself sweat at the exact same time every single take.
And the business card scene.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like when Paul Allen whips or whoever whips out Paul Allen's business card, he's just like it goes into rage.
I
Oh
wonder
my
how
god.
he was able to do that, you know?
I just like
Christian Bale, master of his craft.
Christian Bale perfect.
that part is it's so funny that it boils down to the business card. It's just like it's so funny to me because they all like I have an eye for graphic design, not as good as Chelsea, not as good as Sydney probably. I don't know, but like we see things, we know what's cool or whatever. They all look the exact same. They all look the
Yeah.
exact fucking same, and it's so funny. The only one that is serving cunt is actually oh fuck, what's his name? Luis.
Lewis.
Lewis. I'm so sorry.
Okay, Monica.
I was doing something. I was doing too much. Lewis Crothers, he had a little pop of color in there, and that served cunt. Actually, he was doing something with that, and that was right for Patrick to have a panic attack then that led to gay shit. But like everybody else is what? It's so
Yeah.
funny. Go.
I will say one little detail is that Paul Allen's business card used the same font that they used in the title of the movie American Psycho. So that was one way that they were doing like signaling like Paul Allen has the alpha male business card of the business cards.
And
so
every single one of the cards spelled acquisitions wrong. And like, and Patrick's card, like they're missing a C. It goes AQU instead of ACU. They're all spelled. Every single card is spelled wrong. And then in Patrick's card, it's like Pierce and Pierce, but with that second Pierce, it's missing a space between the and the Pierce, and like it's off center, and like the cards aren't even like every single one of those cards is like not.
It's a low budget movie. They couldn't get more printed.
No, but I think they did it on purpose.
No, I think they did on purpose. So they're
Yeah.
like so focused.
Like they're comparing each
This
other.
man can't even tell.
And
No,
like
no,
they all look
that's-
the same, but they're all wrong.
No, that's the whole thing. They're just focused on aesthetics and not on the content. So
Yeah.
it's like they just want to look good, but it doesn't matter that they're spewing asinine, racist, sexist bullshit out of their mouths all the time. They look sexy as fucking hell. Scare quotes. And so it doesn't matter. Like, oh, it looks nice, but like it has to say words that are in a language that people can read. Actually, that's the point of the card, is to convey information. And if it's not actually doing that, then it's not actually working. But that's not what their goals are. It's just about looking good and feeling sexy, which like I get it, but honey, it's got to it's got to be spelled right. As a girl who has done an entire campaign to be student council president and on every single poster spelled the word dynamite wrong, let me tell you, I lost that election. You gotta fucking spell the words right. It's important. I spelled it like dinosaur. There's a Y. I spelled it like dinosaur. Dynamite. Anyway.
I did love the sound effect in that scene though. The whooshing sound when everybody pulls out their card is so fun. And apparently one of the things that they used to make it was like pulling a sword out of its sheath.
Classic.
That's so funny. That's so boy coded.
This is our sword, since we have business cards in today's modern age.
Also, like, they're all wearing the exact same fucking glasses in that scene too. He's like,
Oliver
"Oh,
People's glasses.
And the same
I get
suit.
mistaken for Marcus Halberstrom." And then Jared Leto, Paul Allen, is also standing there in the exact same haircut and glasses.
But he was right when he said that he had a slightly better haircut than the guy he was being mistaken for. He did have slightly better haircut.
But Paul Allen had the exact same haircut, but his was just slightly better than Patrick's.
Oh,
He's
my God,
supposed to have a
Jared
nicer
Leto.
apartment too. It's bigger and nicer and blah blah blah. And that Patrick Bateman does say in the movie, like, "Oh, he's got a better view."
Yeah.
So funny. I just love the pre-planning that went into all of it. Like, it's a well executed murder, okay? He is in murders and executions, so he would know how to do this. But that's my favorite line and Adam's favorite line in the
I
whole
also
movie.
thought
It's
that was
so fucking funny. Also just want to say that I'm wearing all of Adam's clothes right now, except for
I was
the
wondering if that was your
suspenders.
shirt or Adam's shirt.
Honestly,
this
when
is
you pulled up and you turned on your camera, I was like, "Oh, Adam is here. Mr.
Yeah,
Business
no.
Boy is
No,
with
This is
us
what his
today."
hair
couples
looks
who
like.
grow to look more like each other over time.
Mhm.
Adam's had this exact haircut. Maybe right now it's a little shorter. But I just want to say that I really love this haircut because I can turn it into a man's haircut so easily by like putting this nasty shit behind me. My rat tail is disgusting right now, but we won't be turning around. We won't be revealing the secrets today. But anyway, this is Adam's shirt. This is Adam's tie. Recent acquisition. These are Adam's glasses that he just got, and I was like, oh my god, like this is Patrick Bateman's
like,
glasses.
Adam,
you've gone too
should
far.
Adam is
we
not a Sigma
consider-
male. To be so clear, though, these are my suspenders from my tweet era. So just saying.
Yeah, because
But
if they were real movie accurate, you'd have to have red for finance man.
I know. I wish I had red, but at least I had something. And they
Yeah,
don't have
you
the
look
like
great.
sexy little like I do
Buckle.
love those suspenders with like the buckle that's like two separate prongs at the bottom and like splits. It's like one string and then it splits into 2.
Mm-hmm.
Really holds up your pants well, I guess. I don't know. Suspenders should make a comeback, just a side note. But I just love the like free forethought that goes into his kill of Paul Allen because like Paul Allen is so fucking wasted. Like he's already had a martini when they get there. And then they're just fucking slamming martinis. You can't slam martinis, okay? I just want to let you know. I'm having one right now. That could kill me. Just
Free
one.
martini lunch, Monica. Come on.
They're slamming martinis. He's slamming martinis like it's his job. And it is his job because it seems like that's sort of the vibe. You just have a shit ton of martinis or shit ton of like what is it, J&B? Is that the whiskey that he's always ordering? At least in the book. But like when they set the scene and here they're back in Patrick Bateman's apartment and the fucking every chair is covered in a tarp and like the whole floor is covered in the newspaper. It's just so funny. Like, oh god, all the subtleties of this movie that make it so hilarious. Like, and Paul Allen has like no idea until it's 2 seconds before he's getting fucking
God.
axed in the head. So it's really too bad. He's so god. And that's the one time where I really feel like Patrick had a personality though, because he was really loving talking about Huey Lewis in
So
the news.
exuberant.
And his
He
little
was
dances.
so exuberant. He was exuberant. That was his most joyous moment. He was like, I'm taking out the man who's better than me. So that means I bump up one level.
Now I'm
And that's the goal. is
Try
to be
getting
the
a
best.
reservation at Dorsia now, you stupid fucking bastard. Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful imagery. Also, shiniest axe in the world. No one's ever seen an axe that shiny.
Christian Bale improvised all of his little dancing in that scene.
Love.
Christian Bale really put his whole pussy into this movie. He put everything he had into this film.
Here's the thing.
He's incredible in this.
They didn't want to give it to him originally, and then they did. Like Brad Pitt was originally like attached to this movie with and I can't remember the director, but the director hated like the rewrite and then left. And then it was Christian Bale and the director who directed it, and then
Mary
Leonardo
Harron.
DiCaprio wanted it, but they had
Yeah.
to pay $20 million, and then they brought a new director in because Mary was like, I'm not doing it without Christian. And then Leo left because Gloria Steinem, I believe, was like, you just did Titanic and you have a lot of young women things. This could be really bad. But
Oh.
actually, Gloria Steinem
Ooh.
ended up being Christian Bale's stepmom a little bit after this. So conspiracy theory. And then when
She was like, I have to get him off this project so that Christian can do it.
but
My
then
stepson
when
Christian.
when Leo dropped out, they wanted to give it to Ewan McGregor, I think.
Mm.
And
I could have seen him in
then
that.
Christian Bale was like, don't do it. And then they finally gave it to him, but they weren't confident in his like leading man abilities.
That's so
And
laughable.
that's why like you have Willem Dafoe, Reese Witherspoon, Jared Leto, like you have all of these like well-known
Built around
things.
him.
And I was like,
they didn't
blew
think
my
he
mind.
could lead it. Like, he could pull
He
the.
could
He
carry
didn't
it
have
on
the
his own.
clout.
Yeah.
He didn't have the clout to bring in people
Yeah.
to the seats. I get it. I
And
get
it
it.
blew my
I thought
mind.
you
I
meant
was
like
like,
his acting prowess.
did none of these people see Newsies? Christian Bale was a star.
No, you know I haven't seen Newsies, and I feel like that's part. Yeah, I know. It's brought
Young
up
Christian
literally
Bale
every
is
second.
in Newsies, and he's incredible in it.
Okay, I actually just read these two gay mid-century gay books. You should read them. I think the author is Kat Sebastian. Let me look that up really quickly. One is called We Could Be So Good, and the other one is called You Should Be So Lucky. I'm in my romance novel phase. Everybody step off. They're really good. But anyway, it said like for fans of Newsies. And I was like, I don't understand it, but it's about gay boys in the 50s, late 50s, falling in love at a newspaper. So is that what Newsies is about? In which case, I'm in.
It's a lot of singing and dancing and newspaper boys and unions. So
Feels gay to me.
exactly, it's very gay.
I feel
Anyway,
like I
really
don't know
good books, by the
Christian
way.
Bale's sexuality, but I feel like he comes from what is it, the Tom Hardy school of acting, where it's like I'm an actor, of course I've been gay before.
Yeah.
Of course I'm an actor, of course I've had gay sex. That's just
Of
what
course,
I feel in my heart.
Of course, I'm slept with a man. I'm an actor.
I love Tom Hardy.
That's just how I feel.
That's great. Christian Bale. He's so incredible in this. Fuck. Yeah, it is an incredibly stacked cast. It's just like every person who's ever been named. I was like, what? And this person, and this person, and this person, and Chloe Sevigny?
Right?
Oh God. As a sweet baby newborn child, she's just so spectacular. I had something that I was excited to say, but it's gone now. Should we
Is it
talk
about
more
his
about
lunch
gay?
meeting with Cliff Huxtable? Because I just looked at that in my notes. And I'm sure it was meant to be a wholesome reference at the time. I couldn't have murdered my coworker. I'm going to have lunch with America's most famous dad. I mean, he's just throwing a name out there to be like,
Right.
I'm busy. Detective Kimball, get out of my office. But he says
Oh.
Cliff Huxtable, Bill Cosby's character from the Cosby Show.
See,
So,
yeah, that didn't click for me.
Little different weight to it in hindsight.
It's about Leonardo DiCaprio, and you're saying that how he was going to be in this movie, and also his face is right on in front of me right now because American Psycho is on IMDb is playing a compilation of Leonardo DiCaprio's greatest hits. So thank you for that, IMDb. But he was going to be in this movie, not in this movie, and that's because you're only allowed to be an icon in a Sigma male movie once. And he did Wolf of Wall Street years later.
He had
to save it for Wolf of Wall Street, and
he said,
he
I
couldn't
want
have
to
done
be in
this.
that scene where Margot Robbie puts her pink high heel on my chest. So that's what I choose.
Well, Christian Bale was so threatened by Leo like wanting this role
Sniffing around.
because like Leo got chosen over him over Titanic. Leo got chosen over him with like the Gilbert Grape movie and
Oh
like
shit.
one other movie. And so Christian was like, fuck.
Poor
and
Christian Bale.
and then like he got it, and then so Christian Bale got kicked off the movie, and then he was like, well shit, and then Leo left and he was like, we're so back, actually.
It's so over. We're so
Oh.
back.
Well,
It's so
and then
over.
everybody
We're so back.
was like, this is gonna ruin your career. This is, and like he felt very strongly about this movie and it catapulted him. But he also got that same, because like why can't I think of the actor from Psycho? Help me. What's his
Anthony
name?
Perkins.
Yes. Like apparently he had, once he played Norman Bates, had like a lot of issues of being like typecast and all this kind of stuff. And so people were like, don't do it. Like you'll play a psycho, like you'll never be able to do it. And he was like, watch me, I'm gonna go play Dick Cheney in a movie.
Watch me, I'm gonna be Batman 5 seconds from now.
But then everybody, when Batman came out, they were like, don't do it, you're gonna be typecasted.
He's the ultimate
He's the best
resistor.
Batman.
Yeah, I love Christian Bale, actually.
No, he
I
is
love
done like insane.
that EDM remix of when he freaked out on set.
I have not
It's
heard
called
that.
Bail Out. I'll put it in the notes and I'll send it to you. And I have it
Please
on my
do.
iPod right now.
I love that. That's my favorite song.
No, fuck, no, no, fuck. That's part of it.
Did you
What
know
don't
that?
you fucking understand? It's so good.
Did you know that he's the voice of Howl in the Howl's Moving Castle English version?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Also, he also was just in The Boy and the Heron, which I still haven't seen.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I never
it's
saw The Pale
incredible.
Blue Eye, which I feel like we would like. The Pale Blue Eye, isn't that Edgar Allan Poe movie?
Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah, I'm interested in him. I'm interested in Christian Bale. He slays every time and does literal murders in this. So he slays in that way as well. Can we talk about gay things now?
Are we going into segments or are we just talking about gay things?
We're just talking about gay things.
Okay,
I don't think we've gotten to
I was
that
like, I feel like
point
there's so
yet.
much to cover still.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Well, okay, maybe I want to talk about Willem Dafoe first. Maybe I'm not ready to talk about gay things. I don't know.
Willem
So
Dafoe is
hard
great.
to say.
I love Willem Dafoe.
Apparently
about
in the
Willem Dafoe.
book, that character is another doppelganger character that's supposed to be the same age and have gone to the same school and look the same and be interchangeable with all of them. And then Willem Dafoe was just doing his Willem Dafoeiest, and Mary Harron was like, it's got to be him. He's like bringing something so interesting to these scenes. And she said she had him play it 3 ways, and then they just like chopped it up and used the different lines as they liked them. But she'd film the scene with him playing it as if he knew that Patrick Bateman killed Paul Allen, and then film it again as if he didn't know, and then film it a 3rd time as if he suspected but wasn't sure. And so they're able to really like mishmash it together to be like, what is his deal exactly? How are you? How does this leave you feeling? And it makes Patrick Bateman break out into a sweat every time.
Well, I think that is like a crucial moment in the film because it really sets the groundwork for like the unreliable narrator that we have for this movie, which is Patrick Bateman. Like, and that becomes more and more clear later on in the movie, and then it gets real confusing at the end. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But like, you're so unsettled in that situation. You're like, God, Patrick's acting like a full-on freakazoid. He's not handling this well. But then like Willem Dafoe's character, Donald Kimball, Detective Kimball, is acting so strangely too. Like, what the hell? So I think that was a brilliant choice from the director to have him play it the 3 ways. Also reminds me of all of the acting challenges that I see on TikTok, and so I thought that was really funny. Play it this smile at the beginning this time, and then smile at the end the other time. Do you ever see those? I get those on YouTube all the time. And they could be compelling, and this was an example of that. Willem Dafoe started that actually in this movie.
I love that.
But yeah, he just has such an expressive and iconic look about him that he just like I don't know. He can't ever look exactly like everyone else because it's Willem Dafoe and he has that face on his face. Um, and he has that smile. Like, I think he's a very handsome man, but when he gives that smile to Patrick that's supposed to like, be like, we're cool, we're friends. It's so sinister. And it really feels like he's on to him. And I think that's like the first evidence of like, you know, if you're a fan of Criminal Minds, you know about how serial killers devolve. Um, and it seems like, this killing of Paul Allen and the aftermath of that, the fact that somebody might be on his tail, the fact that he's finally killed someone in his circle. I feel like maybe it's the first time he's killed someone so close to him, maybe.
And that's
Really
like
is
why
like,
he was so prepped for it, as opposed to like, I met an NYU girl in the park and I left her body behind the donut shop.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because the other thing, like, and so he's just to finish that thought, he's devolving the rest of this movie, and he's killing more often, more frequently, and more garishly. But like the thing that is so funny about this movie too, besides everything else, is like he's really bad at this. He's actually really fucking bad at this. Like the scene where he is like pulling Paul Allen's body out of his apartment,
Leaving
like,
blood
Just like,
trails
girl,
all
yeah.
over
you're
his
leaving a
building.
blood trail all across the floor. Like, it's in the middle of the night. Like, he's in front of the building. He gets found out by his would-be lover right then and there. Louise, as many say,
Mm.
Louis Carruthers. Like, it's just he's not good at it. There's just so many signs, especially when he devolves later, and is like killing everyone, and everything that happens in Paul Allen's apartment. There's blood everywhere. There's spray paint on the wall. There's all these different things. Like there's so much evidence left behind, and it really just is like, what is real in this movie? It's so hard to say.
Well, I think he's like screaming to get caught at one point. By the end, he certainly is. You know what I mean? Like, not to get too sidetracked onto that, but he has that phone call, and you can see he feels so relieved afterwards that, like, it's finally gonna be over, or whatever is next is gonna be happening. Maybe he'll finally feel something. And then it's like, when that doesn't happen, he's like, so blue balled about it. It's like nothing means anything. It doesn't even like nothing means anything. I thought there'd be something at some point that would mean something, but he can never quite get there.
No, and that's just it's what's so sad about this movie. Not that I want to have compassion for him or anything like that, because he's a horrible person doing horrible things, but there's something that's like wrong with him, like on a biochemical level, where things are like he's got something that's broken deep inside of him, and there's never gonna be a relief for that because he has mental illness, love, and it's really really bad, and there's no help for that when he's gone this far down this road. There's no rehabilitating what's happened. And I think he, like, cuz he doesn't like feel anything, he also just wants to feel something. But he doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to get to that place. So that's like one of the few times where you're like, oh, I feel bad for him, because it's just like he's fucked. Like he can never be happy. He can never
There's no
scratch that itch.
satisfaction.
There's no satisfaction for him ever, because it's not in the cards. It's not something that he can experience the way that he was born into this world. And that is sad. But you don't have to kill people because of that. I don't know. There's another way. There's another way. But no, it's a
Yeah.
really interesting picture of a psychotic person. Like, you because he doesn't have no feelings. He doesn't, sorry, this is grammar that wasn't there, but like he does have something there, because you see it in the way where he doesn't kill certain people that feel like they care about him. Like, I feel like he can like recognize the difference. um Like, for example, and now we can talk about gay things. With Crothers, Lewis Crothers, why is that his last name? It's just so unfortunate for him. And also his card said Crothers and then Lewis afterwards. And I'm like, is that how you put your last name first? I don't understand. It's an unfortunate name regardless.
What is this, a flight manifesto?
I don't really get it. But again, like I said earlier, he's got the cuntiest card, and that's because he is a beautiful gay man in a lavender marriage, and that's what, or in a lavender engagement. I don't know if Courtney's gay, actually. She just wants to have two beautiful, perfect children and take Quaaludes all day long. And I don't really understand what's going on with her character. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know.
She just
feel like
wants two beautiful children, Monica.
She just wants
She's
two beautiful
just depressed.
children. She's so depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I hate that I will never be able to do drugs in the 80s, you know?
They're saying names of drugs I'd never heard before.
Like the scene where they're in the bathroom, like slamming coke and they're being loud, and the other guy's like, "Shut up! I'm trying to do drugs here." Is so funny.
Trivia for
Also-
you about that scene, unless Monica was about to say it, and then she can say it. Oh,
Nope.
trivia about that scene. That was from the bar scene in the beginning at first. They filmed so many things for the beginning of this movie. Like when you see the shower scene later on at the end and the closet scene later on at the end, that was supposed to be from the beginning. This scene doing drugs in the bathroom was from the beginning, but then it was super top heavy. So they had to like parse some of it out later, and some of it, like the getting ready stuff I just talked about. She was like, I'm so glad we filmed extra because then we could use that to do that like transition from the chaos of the night to the tranquility of the morning near the end.
Oh, that's great.
But she
That's
was worried
worked out
about
beautifully.
moving this drugs bar bathroom scene to the other bar scene because she's like, they're wearing different clothes. And the editor was like, no one's gonna notice. And she recorded this commentary 5 years after the movie came out, and she was like, yeah, no one ever has noticed. So
I didn't notice until right now.
No, the only incongruency, the only like issue that I noticed as I was like really zoning in on the Willem Dafoe scenes because I knew that they had done 3 different cuts and cut it all different ways. Unfortunately, the wire from his mic, because all actors are mic'd up, is sticking out from behind his tie for half that scene. And then they fixed it for one of the later takes, but I did catch that, and I was like, I just wish I didn't notice these things. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's my job now.
One that I thought was interesting that I really thought that Mary Harron was going to comment upon, because I was like, for sure it's on purpose. But when he calls his lawyer to confess to everything, he calls him Howard. And then when he talks to him in person later, he calls him Harold. And he's credited as Harold on IMDb. But I went back and checked, and he definitely says Howard in the phone call.
Well, maybe
and I was
that
like,
is
it's
part
another
of it.
doppelganger thing. But I don't know. Who can say?
Oh, I think it's like maybe it could just be like they just don't know each other to this level that like they're
You
he
know
thinks
how
he's above that, but he's still calling
some
people the wrong
guys,
name.
yeah, their names are Richard, but their nickname is Nicholas or whatever.
Right.
So, James is a nickname for Jonathan or whatever kind of shit. Howard,
shit.
Harold, that's just my nickname.
Yeah. Of course, everyone. That's common.
Everybody
very
knows.
common. But yeah, I mean, back to the
Willem
gay
Dafoe.
of it
Oh.
all. No. I think we were talking about gay shit before that. Then we
Yeah.
got sidetracked by Courtney and her depression, and then we were talking about the drug that other woman who dies later has that starts with an H that I don't know what it is, and I've never heard of that before in my life. So new 80s drugs that I've never heard of. But anyway, the gay stuff. Well, okay. So Bret Easton Ellis is a queer gentleman. And he's gone on to say, like later on in his life, he didn't say this like at the time of the release of the book and things like that, that like he like put a lot of himself into Patrick Bateman's character, which sounds fucked up, like, oh, what a fucked up guy. But there's like a lot of
The trying to fit
like,
in.
Mm-hmm.
the trying to fit in, the like wearing the face, like another face that is not your own, like being insanely like anal about making sure you're keeping up with the Joneses and making sure that you're passing. That like really does map onto the queer experience. And then there's also a lot to be said about the setting and the time period of this movie and when what was actually going on with the queer community when this book is set. Because this came out, or I don't know exactly when the book came out, but it's set at the height of the AIDS crisis
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
fucking New
and
York
they're like
City.
in queer spaces. There's like 1,000 drag queens and drag shows going on in the background in all of the nightlife scenes.
Yeah, that is like the gayest bar I've ever seen in my life. I was going to dress up instead of this as the little devil guy who is in the second time they're in the club. He's got the little devil horns, he's got red eyebrows, he's serving cunt, and I almost did that, but I thought it was a little too niche, and I had all the mergers and acquisition outfit right here ready, and I didn't want to paint my eyebrows red with lipstick. But anyway, like they're definitely in these queer spaces. They zoom right in on that beautiful drag queen who's the bouncer. Like there's obviously that going on, but also like in the book, in just the parts that I've read, which again I only got about 3 hours into the 12-hour long audiobook, but like they're talking, and it's even the exact quotation is in the later bar scene with Justin Theroux, Tim, and Patrick while they're doing all the blow-cane, where they're talking about the AIDS crisis and how
It
like
gives you
oh
dyslexia.
like it's well no it's not that they're saying AIDS gives you dyslexia. They're saying that like if you can get AIDS through sex, you can get anything through sex. You can get dyslexia, you can get Alzheimer's, you can get any disease can be sexually transmitted, which is not true, by the way. Just want to let you know. Um, but that's like the stupid thing that Tim/Justin Thoreau is saying at that time. But in the book, it's really interesting because one of the conversations that I heard from the parts I did read was about how they're going on and on about how guys like us can't get it. Actually, guys like us can't get it. They're like, no, it's true. I know this to be true. Like you and I, we can't get it. It's literally impossible. It's like only different types of people than us can get AIDS, can get HIV, and can get AIDS. Like it's like they're immune. They're literally
Yeah,
saying that
my
they
privilege
are
protects
immune.
me.
Exactly, but they're saying like I don't know if they meant medically. I think they did because they're just extrapolating so hard. But they're like that's this type of experience can never touch us, and so it's never going to touch us, which is
We're
just
free to
so
fucking do intravenous drugs and whatever we want freely because we don't have to worry about things like those other people do.
yeah. And it's just so ridiculous because like the reality of the situation is that like half those guys were gay, half the guys are gay, like and so anybody that you're around like they're all gay and they're all fucking each other's girlfriends and then fucking those girlfriends. So anybody there could have been susceptible to this at this time. And like apparently it's even more overt how many of the characters are queer coded in the book than just in the movie. And they go a lot further into how they show how Patrick Bateman is probably a queer character. Like in the movie, we have the scene with Lewis where he goes to strangle him because he has the cuntiest card of all, and he can't. It's literally what happened. He's like, "Oh my god, that serves such cunt."
You must die.
Right.
I have to kill him literally right now in the fucking restaurant. I also love that scene, the way it's set up that you can see Lewis the whole time, like watching them and waiting to go make his move. I just love him, and he's such a little cunty bitch. Um, and he's so in love with Patrick. It's crazy. And the feeling is mutual. So it seems in the way that Patrick can have those types of emotions, because like he literally can't kill him, and we've seen him kill without abandon so many times in the movie. He's killed that homeless man. He's been malicious, horrible things. He has really great aim with a chainsaw. Like he just like is a no holds barred killer, but like he's faced with this person who is showing him kindness and seeing him in this different way, and he can't kill him. So that's like why can't he kill him? Why?
I
Gay.
think
Yeah.
it's so interesting what you said about he has these moments with people who he thinks care about him as opposed to everybody else who thinks that Patrick Bateman is a schmutz and a putz and blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
a dumbass and a weirdo.
Right, because Mary Harron talked about that with the Gene scene later on. And one thing she said about his character in general is that he's like a ping pong ball, like not a ping pong ball, a pinball, where he's just kind of like bouncing around. And sometimes
Mhm.
he's trying to do something, and then an obstacle pops up, and it just like bounces him in a completely different direction, which is kind of how she talked about the Lewis scene, and also the phone call that interrupts the Gene scene later on, and it's like that's what bounces him away and like sets him spinning in another direction. Like he's just kind of so emotionally wheeling that any new thing to bounce up against will just like send him somewhere else. But the scene with Lewis in particular is so interesting because it completely diffuses him 100%, and it also his reaction to it is like the compulsive washing of his gloved hands from where his gloves touched Lewis. It's so like I can't it's I mean he clearly has his own things going on with like I'm not gay, that can't be me, that's not me, I'm not gay. And oh, you're asking about Powell Allen?
Yeah.
That guy was a closeted gay, that guy was a closeted homosexual.
Not me
No,
though.
no,
Not me
no.
though.
Me, I'm fucking bitches on the regular. But do I really fuck these bitches? I prefer to watch them fuck each other, and then I'll be just over here. So something for him to think about.
I
But the
prefer to let them fuck each other, and I don't look actually at all. I'm just talking about Whitney Houston the whole time.
I just want to be like in a queer space with people who are doing queer things and like listen to my pop music, and like I don't want to reflect at all on what that means for me and my sexuality. But the way he just like it's so interesting the way he literally just completely disconnects from everything that was going on and just like needs to like the washing of the gloves is so crazy to me. I love it.
I know, and like he just shuts down completely when he faces this intimacy and like this honesty from Lewis that he just wasn't, I guess, expecting. Or I don't know, it's just so clear, and that's the most overt part, but there's so many other moments where it's less clear, but there's still evidence there. There's even more in the book. It's crazy. There is this part in the book where apparently he's walking down the street. He thought he was seeing a Halloween parade, which was disorienting since I was fairly sure it was May. And when I made closer inspection, it turned out to be something called a gay pride parade, which made my stomach turn. I watched with certain traumatized fascination, but when I began to receive fey cat calls from aging over muscled beach boys and walrus like mustaches in between the lines, there's a place for us somewhere. There's a place for us. I sprinted over to 6th Street Avenue. He proceeds to go back to his apartment, and he had not rented, adopted a dog earlier in the week. He goes back to his apartment and then maliciously murders this dog because he was confronted with a gay parade.
I'm
He
confused.
was so overwhelmed.
I'm confused. I have to re-regulate my system by doing a murder.
And he does that. We see that in the movie so many different times, not necessarily from like a queer trigger, but like when whatever his facade that he's putting forth is poked at or seems lesser than, he like runs to do something super masculine. So he either like goes and kills someone, or he goes and has crazy sex. He does that a few times throughout the movie. The other one is even more crazy, and I just might read this whole thing. I don't know. It's kind of long. I don't even know where to start this. He goes to a U2 concert. Okay, that happens. He goes to a U2 concert. Okay, it's the 80s. That happens. And there is a part where like Bono comes out, and he gets so into Bono that he gets an erection.
Well,
It's
Bono.
like-
What can you expect?
Yeah, he like apparently he's like in the front row and like Bono like looks at him or something. This is crazy. Which I was like, that's not true and this is fake. But I just want to let you know
That's
that
a
Tom Cruise is
Wattpad
also
story.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that Tom Cruise is also in the book, and I'll explain that in a second.
Shaved his whole body to go see Bono sing on stage for U2. Got sold
Yeah,
to
but like
U2 by
Bono
his
comes
mom.
out, looks
Came
at
down in a
him,
messy
and
He
he's
bun.
wore
like,
his messy bun and his Converse, and he got sold to U2.
no, it literally, and like he like has this moment where he feels like he's the only guy following me to my seat. He's staring into my eyes, kneeling at the edge of the stage, wearing black jeans, maybe gitano, sandals, and a leather vest with no shirt beneath it. His body is white, covered with sweat. Beneath a paltry amount of chest hair. I realize that I'm receiving a message of some kind from the singer. The stadium's deserted. The band fades away. I hear it, can actually feel, can even make out the letters of the message hovering over Bono's head in orange letter. I am the devil, and I am just like you. And then everyone, the audience, the band, reappears, and the music slowly swells up. And Bono, sensing that I've received the message, I actually know that he feels me reacting to it, is satisfied, and turns away, and I'm left tingling, my face flushed, an aching erection pulsing against my thigh, my hands clenched into fists of tension. Anyway, I'm glad I read it. It was great. It was fun to read. But yeah, like that happens also. But by the way, that happens. And then there's the whole Luce Carruthers scene as well. So like there's some business occurring. Um and I've also read some reads, and I don't know how I totally feel about this, and I don't feel like confident saying this as an opinion I have because I haven't finished reading the book, as I've said 14,000 times, but I'll remind you again. But there's like a read of like the AIDS epidemic or like being more prevalent in this than one might think on the surface, and that like they even equate like Patrick like having AIDS himself or having HIV himself, and like he's spreading it, and that's part of how he's killing people, and it's an analogy for that. And I just like I don't know how I feel about that, and that's like some Reddit people shit, and I think that's like a little bit too much for me to say that I agree with without having read the book fully and analyzed it. But there is something to be said about something more to be said about the AIDS, the background of the AIDS crisis in this book, because and in this movie, because like that's a whole nother level added on to the queer repression that he's experiencing. It's literally like this like I don't know, you could argue now is also one of the most unsafe times to be a queer person, but like you're like being queer during this time was literally like a health risk. It was a very horrible time, and there was no
It could be a death sentence.
support. Could be a death sentence to express yourself, to find that intimacy with people that were like-minded, who were identified the same way as you. It was an unsafe time to do that because there's no one helping to stop this crisis. Reagan didn't fucking give a shit or fuck and never acknowledged it, and like it just was dangerous in a different way to be yourself at that time. So that's another level of repression that he might have been experiencing if he is a queer person, if you're reading this in as him masking his queerness. So I think it's an interesting detail that they touch on in the movie, but they don't really go too far into it, and I think it adds a lot of color to the story.
I do think, I guess this is more going to be related for segments later, but I do think he's searching for an experience where he can feel something, some sort of emotion. He's tried killing, he's tried getting caught for killing, and none of it is connecting. And it's like, but baby girl, did you try gay sex? Because I think that could be the one for him. but to try gay sex in a meaningful way would just he'd have to really reconstruct and re-examine all of the other facades of his life, and that's how he knows how to move through the world. It's just it's too, he's not going to do it because it would fuck up the rest of his shit too much. It would give him a crisis, but it's like, girl, I think that might be the one.
Exactly. Instead of like the he's doing the different thing, not the do I want to fuck you or do I want to be you or do I want to be with you or do I want to be you. He's like, I'm gonna kill you because I can't be you. Like he's skipping a couple of steps there. He's getting the options mixed up.
But he
And
doesn't.
so
That's what's interesting, is that he doesn't kill Lewis, like you were saying. Like
well,
Lewis
yeah,
and
that's
Jean, the two
true.
people who have care for him. It's so interesting that you said that, I think. It's a little, Jean's story is a little different in the book than it is in the movie. But I mean, she does like him. That those are the moments that kind of like make him like step back and be like, I don't know, not today, not right now, at least, are so interesting.
Yeah. No, because you were talking about Chloe Sevigny's character.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other person is like his fiance. What's her name? I always get confused because he's
Evelyn.
always saying
Evelyn.
Cecilia. Evelyn. He's always saying Cecilia because that's the other dude who everyone
That's
thinks he is
Marcus
his girlfriend.
Halberstrom's girlfriend
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, Reese Witherspoon. Like, also just shouts out to her having a mini pig before it's time. She was really
Shouts
ahead
out
of the
for her
time.
getting dumped in a restaurant and crying in a movie before Legally Blonde came out. Didn't know she did that twice.
I love that she didn't realize she was actually being dumb. She was just like, whatever. We won't talk about the wedding. It's fine.
Yeah, well, because they have such a weird relationship. She's
Yeah.
just like, we just are engaged and we don't hang out, and I know you're fucking other women like all the time.
And I'm
I'm also
Justin
fucking your
Theroux.
best
Yeah.
friend, yeah, who you have a psychosexual crush on. I don't know. Like, it's so fucked up. Like, the rules of this society that they live are just so bizarre.
Yuppie
Like,
society, man.
Yeah.
That's what's the
They're just,
graffiti
like,
on the wall. Is like yuppie something, right?
yuppie scum or something like that.
Do you think he did that himself?
Yuppies
Did
were,
that
like,
actually happen?
such a thing. New York in the 80s. There was, or like, and it wasn't yuppie, but it was called like the preppy murders. Where
Mm.
it was like people like this like murdered somebody. Sorry for cat butthole on screen.
I saw it.
Big butthole show. Holy shit.
Pickle.
Pickle, you've been exposed. Oh my god, Pickle looks so silly right now. Oh, what a nerd.
No,
Yeah, I
big
didn't know
mouth.
about that. That's so
The
crazy.
preppy murder, yeah. So, she was a prep school girl who was murdered, I think.
You know, anybody can kill. Anyone can be.
True.
Even someone who loves Les Mis.
I love
Does
this.
That's
he
the other
love
part that's
Les
gay.
Mis though? That's what's so interesting to me, is like, she talked, and the director talked about how like none of his items are personal, they're all like set dressing. And so I wonder if he was just like going to a Broadway show is a status symbol. But Les Mis comes up twice, both because he has that poster in his bathroom right above the toilet, which is
Yeah.
interesting placement. And also when he is bringing his bloody sheets to the dry cleaners and trying to bully them into somehow fixing them in a 2-hour time span on his Egyptian cotton that comes from wherever or whatever he said. That girl comes in and he's like, "Can you take care of this for me?" And then she's like, "Yeah, maybe we could get lunch sometime." And he's like, "What about next Saturday?" And she's like, "That works for me." And he's like, "Well, it doesn't work for me. I have to see a matinee of Les Mis." And then he runs away. And he mentions another show at some point too, but it sounded like he was making that one up. So I don't know if that one was real or not.
Just really loves Les Mis,
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea.
The Africa one.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
like a joke.
With Detective
It was a
Kimball.
laugh riot.
But I'm so curious. I mean, I'm not a Les Mis person, so maybe there's something in there that feels like a connection, but maybe that was just the show of the season back in the day.
Oh, okay. I mean, here's a take. I just like I don't know, but I love Les Mis, but like not
Uh-huh.
as much as some of my friends. Um, and it's like a Broadway musical that's very emotional and very sad and sappy, so it adds to the gay aspects of it all. But this is a take that someone has on Reddit. Sorry, you said, "Oh, I don't have opinions. I'm gonna look it up on Reddit." I don't have an opinion on this. I'm looking it up on Reddit. Um, Les Mis was also supposed to represent how banal and boring Bateman's taste is. This is Lady Vagrant's take, by the way. Les Mis is a big, long running hit on Broadway, but has been criticized by many for being schmaltzy, sentimental crap. Besides Les Mis, he's also a big fan of Genesis, Whitney Houston, and Huey Lewis and News. They're all big corporate, highly successful acts, basically stuff that any 80s yuppie would enjoy. He names drops them like he names drops status symbols like Armani suits and Rolex watches, but the jokes that not only that he not only likes them but treats them with, like as great masterpieces, but they're like, mass commodified.
They're mid.
Yeah, they're mid. I mean, there's some great songs and they're talented people, and that's why so many people like them, but there's some like lowest common denominator options. Like that's a big part of it too. Like he's choosing like lowest common denominator acts. Like people, everybody likes this. So if I say that I like this,
I
then
have to learn to like this because
odds
everybody likes
are,
it.
yeah, odds are you'll like this too, and it's something that we can talk about. It's like a way for him to seem like a human person to talk about this thing that everybody else likes too. But when he's around anybody who has like a different sort of taste or whatever, he thinks that he's doing the right thing by like being like, this is what everybody likes. But actually, it's making him seem like a mid fucking loser because he doesn't have any like niche interests or
Original
anything like
perspectives.
that. And then it's revealed to him later on in the movie that everyone thinks he's a fucking idiot and a loser and a weirdo, even though he thought he was killing the game. And actually, he was just out there killing. And that's the end of the episode.
And we're done.
And see you next week.
And see.
Yeah, so I slayed that, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to move on from that.
Yeah, I looked at the Wikipedia page for Les Mis, and apparently they started doing like global productions in 1985, and this movie takes place in 1987. So I think it is that thing where it's like this was the big show of the moment, so he has to engage and participate and go see it because everyone's going to see it, so he can't be seen not going to see it. He has to be wearing his normal guy costume, which means participating in all of the other pop culture that everybody else is participating in. And he doesn't get it at first, which is why he has to study and learn what it is about it that makes it special so that he can get it. And then he goes, oh, I didn't get it, and so therefore everybody else must also not get it, so everybody else needs it explained to them the same way it was explained to me, which is why I'm monologuing at everybody all of the time. But not people that he's like, in theory, would be trying to connect with, you know what I mean? Like, he does it to Paul Allen, who he's about to kill. He does it to the sex workers, who he clearly doesn't value as people. I don't remember what... Oh, it's the sex workers 2 times. They got Genesis and Whitney Houston. Although Elizabeth was there for one time. And I don't really fully understand who Elizabeth is in the narrative, but
I was like,
she's one of the
is that
writers.
his ex-girlfriend? Oh my god, that's so funny.
She's a lesbian
who went to Sarah Lawrence in real life.
Yes, and
That's
is
so
also a
funny.
lesbian
That
in
shit
real
was
life.
So funny. That shit was hilarious.
Yeah, that she did a cameo, and they joked about her doing that role in the movie from the time that they were writing it because she was a lesbian who went to Sarah Lawrence. And the bartender in the beginning who Patrick Bateman is like, I'm gonna slit your throat, you're ugly fucking bitch, because she won't take his drink tickets. That's Mary Harron's sister, Kelly Harron. So
That's
they had fun.
so
They had fun on set.
funny. Good. I'm glad they had fun. I had fun watching it.
One thing that we need to talk about is the violence in this movie, because it is so interesting the way the majority of it is not on the page. And I think that that is, from what I can tell, a really big difference between the books and the movie. And I think part of it is because this was a low budget film. And so there's just only so much that they can do with their production budget. Um, like they didn't have prosthetics for anything. When you see the frozen head in the freezer, it's because they like cut a hole for that actress to like pop her head in and just like mostly hold her breath while she has a plastic bag over her head. And the girls in the closet in the plastic bags are like, just actresses and not dummies or anything like that. And when there's a scene where they're like driving and they didn't have money to do a rig, so they did the classic old thing of crew members just like having flashlights like going around to make it seem like they're driving by lampposts and things like that. They did a lot of really cool small budget tricks. She keeps talking about they filmed on film. She talked a lot about how they tried to film as much coverage as they could, which was useful because they could repurpose some of those scenes later on in the movie to do like transitions and stuff like that. Like I was talking about the bathroom scene. And she let the detective scene, the first interrogation with Kimball, run really long because even though everybody kept telling her to cut it in the script and then cut it shorter in the movie, but the silences as opposed to the dialogue she thought were like so impactful and powerful.
Yeah.
But what was I just gonna say? Because I really was working towards something and then I got sidetracked with all of my side points. But the violence. A lot of it
The violence.
back to the violence. A lot of it they just like I don't think that they couldn't shoot. I mean, they couldn't probably, but that wasn't the reason why. It was because they really didn't want the violence to be like pornographic, if you will. Like that was so not the point, and they didn't want to be like glorifying or like holding the violence up as like the excitement of the movie. That's not the takeaway, is like how fun and gross and gory it is.
Yeah.
And she got asked a lot, especially in the scene with the sex workers, when it's like you see them in the bed and then he's like, it's not over yet. And then cut to them the next morning looking all busted up as they're leaving. She got asked a lot, like, did that scene get cut down for rating purposes? And she's like, no, we never filmed that scene. That was never meant to be a scene. The most we see him really actively do violence, he drops the chainsaw on Christy, but the most we see him is when he's axing Paul Allen, and we don't even really see any of that. We just see the blood splatter his face, which was an accident, by the way. The way it only got on like one side of his face, but she said it was so perfect because it was like, sure, there's a little splatter on the other side, but he'd sit down and he'd be almost completely normal from one side, and the other side is like drenched in blood. And it's just very thematic for his whole thing, his whole mask and different sides of himself. But I feel like that is a very smart approach to this that the writers and the director took as two women, is like they don't want people to be coming to this movie to see all of the violence against primarily women and other oppressed people. That's not the point of the movie, is to see these people being brutalized. It's to see like the emptiness that goes along with the person who's enacting this violence. Even the violence can't touch him. Even what he thinks he's going to get out of it, when he finally is going to get caught, even that can't touch him. He's just empty. And I think leaving that off screen, it would be such a different movie if it was on screen. You know what I mean? The vibes would be so completely different.
No, I think it's very tasteful the way it was done. And especially like based on what we've been discussing and the critical reception, not even the critical reception, like the fan reception of this movie and the way that it's been taken and twisted by folks, and they've swerved things around where they're venerating Patrick Bateman, which is fucking crazy. Like if they had all of this like gratuitous violence in there too, like that makes me freaked out because it's already too much. And to have that in there as well, and if it would have that same perception, I mean, who knows what would happen. That's a different timeline than the one that we're on. But I just, people are already taking this and taking it the wrong fucking way completely. So we don't need to give them more.
It's interesting though that he has these moments where he starts to go off the rails. It's like, okay, what happens right before the scene with Christy and Elizabeth? There's something like that. Oh, it's maybe the Jean stuff. Oh, and then he has the interview where he really is like, he's on to me because Willem Dafoe's character says, I mean, to think that one of his friends killed him for no reason whatsoever would be a little too ridiculous. Isn't that right, Patrick? And so he's like, fuck, he's got me. And that's when he like goes crazy. He circles back for Christy. He ends up getting her. Then he has to immediately go dump Evelyn. And that's when things just like really start to fall apart around him. He's like getting rid of the mask of everything in his life. He's
And yeah, and his grip on reality is completely devolving. He sees an ATM say, "Feed me a cat," so he's
feed
really
me
lost.
a stray cat. Yeah, Mary Harron said that's really the moment in the movie where it's like, don't trust anything that you see after that point. Which is so interesting because like the Christie thing that happens at Paul Allen's apartment, and then he devolves in this way. He dumps Evelyn. He tries to feed the cat into the ATM. He gets the gun. He starts shooting people. He has the shootout with the police. There's an explosion. Blah blah blah. He confesses on the phone. He finally goes home and is refreshed and renewed. And then he tries to go back to Paul Allen's apartment to survey the damage, and it's like completely painted over, cleaned up. They're showing it to people already, which is clear to say that didn't happen in one night.
Especially because he left bodies in the closet.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. So it's like, did he really do any of that? Is what's really going on at all?
Yeah. And I want to hear what you heard from Mary Harron's her whole breakdown of everything, the director's commentary. But I read a quote from her that she feels like the way that she ended this movie like was a bit of a failure in some ways, not totally, but like she thinks that she went too far in the direction of making you completely mistrust everything that you've seen in the entire movie, so it falls into the whole like it was all a dream trope. And like that apparently is not her intention. Like he definitely did kill people, but it's like, did Paul Allen die? Like who did he kill? What is real? What's not real? Some of it is though, is what I was reading. Is that what you got from the commentary?
She didn't really talk about that necessarily. One just interesting detail I thought was that he comes in and Paul Allen's apartment is completely painted white, and she did say that she regretted that. She should have had it like partially painted because she felt like audience members got confused and they didn't know where we were now, and they couldn't tell that that was supposed to be Paul Allen's apartment anymore because it was not even the same color. And I also like was not, I mean, I think I thought that it was Paul Allen's apartment, but I wasn't totally sure like what that scene was necessarily. But also she really talked about that scene with the realtor and how the realtor was like, should I play it like I'm afraid of this like strange man coming in where maybe things happened at this apartment and he's showing up, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, he's afraid of you in that scene. You're the one who has like the power and authority in that scene. And she doesn't turn her back to him at any point. She's like, I think you need to go. And he goes because he's now losing. I think it's less about did any of it really happen and more a reflection on he no longer has a strong grip on reality and what's real and not, and what he did and didn't do. It's more about his experience than it is about the audience's experience of mistrusting what's being shown on screen. It's about him no longer being secure in where he fits in this world and his understanding of the world, and he always knew he was like different and needed to pretend, but now he doesn't even know like how to go about pretending because
He doesn't even know
he's
if he has been pretending.
did
He has
I
no
kill
idea.
Paul Allen? Have I been successfully masking this whole time? There's a lot that's going on there in that regard. I think he did kill Paul Allen, but with Harold Howard being like, I just had dinner with Paul Allen twice. I think part of my takeaway in that scene is like it would be very easy for American Psycho to be the kind of serial killer media where he only kills sex workers and unhoused people because they're considered so interchangeable and disposable and nobody is looking for them. But in this version, in this American Psycho that we get, these rich yuppies are equally interchangeable and disposable and can't tell one apart from the other, and one goes missing and nobody's even looking, or someone is looking, but then it's like, isn't he right over there? Because they all look the same. I thought that was like a really interesting element to this film that could have been overlooked in a different set of hands, and was a very, that I think is like one of the most important parts of the commentary.
No, I totally agree. Like when I first watched this morning, I was like, what what are they getting at? Like what is the point of calling everything into question? Like what is going on with Paul Allen? What's going on with this lawyer who has irrefutable proof that Paul Allen was alive just 10 days ago and this murder was supposedly happened many days before that? Like I was just not sure. But then I was like, oh, well, he thinks he's talking to somebody other than Patrick Bateman. And Patrick Bateman talks to him on the phone all the time. So I wouldn't put it past this bitch to think he had dinner with Paul Allen
Right.
in London. And he didn't. It was some other bitch. Because all these bitches have face blindness. And that's what happens when you become a yuppie, I guess. You can no longer distinguish a one white man from another. So keep that in mind, folks. But yeah, no, I think it's like supposed to be like silly, like the tone of the rest of the movie, where it's just like it doesn't make sense, and it's just another absurd thing that happens in this world that's filled with absurd things. Um, and I like it ambiguous in that way, not in the way where it's like, oh, everything was never happened and he's been normal this whole time. Obviously, he's not normal.
I hate the whole it was all a dream. It was all a
Yeah,
reality. Like
only one movie can do that, and we already covered it.
Yeah, that was one thing that she did say she wanted to make a change with in the movie from the book is in the book, sorry, little spoiler here, but in the book, I think he does get married to Jean, or at least they get engaged, Chloe Sevigny's secretary character. I think that must become like part of his cover or his mask or whatever going forward. And then in this movie, she said that she and the other writer Guinevere or something, is that her name? That they liked the Jean character so much. Guinevere Turner. They ended up liking the Jean character so much and finding her like so sweet and charming, and her interactions with him and the way that the way Chloe Sevigny plays it and everything like that, that they wanted her not to be like trapped in that position, especially because in the book it like, does she know, does she not know, does she like turn a blind eye because it's more convenient to not know, kind of thing. And in the movie they gave her looking through the date book and finding the drawings, not that crazy drawings necessarily mean anything, but they did want this like question to exist for at least one character of like what is going on here, who is this person and what is their character. And
Yeah, at least she sees the curtain pulled aside and sees him for what he is, or at least
yeah,
can burst her bubble of being in love with him because she so obviously was.
that doesn't mean he did anything. It doesn't mean that she knows that he did anything, but it means that she at least can
Knows
see
something's going on.
his deal. Yeah.
She, yeah, has evidence to be frightened of him and to keep her distance to protect herself.
But it's
Yeah.
interesting because like they have that final monologue, obviously, but right before that is when they're talking about Reagan on the TV, which she said they really resisted doing a lot of big like news media placement in this movie to ground it. They wanted it to be really separate from the real world and exist kind of in this fantasy New York, if you will, this fantasy version of things. And that was
I think
like the
that's just a
one moment,
disservice.
yeah, the one moment where they brought it in, and the quotes are the guys being like, he presents himself as this harmless old codger, but inside, and then Patrick Bateman goes, inside doesn't matter. And so it's so like his perspective on things is like, it's not about who you are, it's about the way that people perceive you. And he moves through this world thinking he's doing this mask this whole time that takes so much work. We see his morning routine and everything he goes to and goes through for this, only to discover by the end of the movie that again nobody's falling for it for the most part. So many people think that Patrick Bateman, even when they're looking right at him and seemingly would respect quote unquote the person in front of them, they know Patrick Bateman to be a loser.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And that's what he comes up against too at the end is like his mask doesn't work, he didn't feel anything anyway, and he's not even gonna get caught and feel eternal pain or damnation or the judgment of others or to be living in his truth and blah blah blah. It's like it's all
Yeah.
just still empty and inside doesn't matter.
No, it's just like there's no point in anything. Like he's made it his whole life's mission to keep up these appearances, and like I guess he's done it because like even when he tries to finally reveal himself, no one will believe that. No one will believe the truth. No one will believe the lie because the lie isn't selling him either. It's just like he's in this never ending limbo and he'll never be satisfied.
And he'll never know.
And yeah.
Yeah, the line is my pain is constant and sharp, and I do not hope for a better world for anyone. In fact, I want my pain to be inflicted on others. I want no one to escape. But even after admitting this, there is no catharsis. My punishment continues to elude me, and I gain no deeper knowledge of myself. No new knowledge can be extracted from my telling. This confession has meant nothing.
So depressing. It's like there's no point.
That's the thing that's so crazy about people upholding Patrick Bateman as this figure to aspire to mimic is he literally ends the movie being like everything is meaningless and I feel bad about that.
I think that people saw a compilation. Somebody made a sexy Patrick Bateman
Fan
edit
cam.
A thirst trap.
on yeah, they made a thirst trap fan cam and posted it on the internet, and some bros saw it and they're like, damn, that guy is fine and he's really taking care of his body. And he is fine and he is really taking care of his body. And those two things are true. But he's also a psychopathic murderer, killer,
Who's
person
dead
who everyone
inside.
thinks is a fucking stupid loser. It's just I just would be so embarrassed if I had fallen prey to that, and then like I watched the movie finally and was like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, everybody hates this bitch that I've mapped my entire life onto. Like, and it's not like, oh, you like something that not everybody else likes. Like, he is a horrible person who kills people and degrades women on the daily, and he's closeted gay, which is not what these Sigma males are going for. I can assure you of that. It's just so ironic. It's crazy. It's so crazy that that's a thing. It's literally crazy. It's like one of the craziest things. It's just one of the greatest misinterpretations of a piece of art that I
Of
have
all
ever
time.
seen. Of all time.
And it really feels like you have to work to misinterpret it. It feels like
You
this
gotta
movie is
try.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I will say though, that last
What?
shot where, he's like doing his monologue and then you see the door behind him that says like this is not an exit. Apparently that's like the last
Yeah.
line of the book also.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
said in the
No, there's
commentary
no way out.
that they really wanted to get that sign in there, and then it ended up being like so much smaller than they expected, and she was like kind of bummed because that was kind of their thing. And then one of the other guys was like, I was like, thank God it was so small when it showed up because it felt a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
So having it be small felt like a nod to the book while also being like subtle about it, not
No, I
slamming
thought
you
it
in
was
the face with
tasteful.
it.
I thought it was tastefully done. Oof. Woof. What an end. I guess it's time for our
Segmentos. Gotcha.
I went back to
Chelsea.
try and see the sign because I remembered them talking about it in the commentary, but I never noticed it for myself.
Yeah, it's there, promise. Okay, it's time to ask the age-old question, how could this movie be gayer? And I mean, they could have kissed on the mouth instead of just on the hand in that bathroom scene, but the
They
world
could have
wasn't
embraced
Patrick
their
wasn't ready
true
for that.
nature.
They could have actually respected the dress code at the gay bar that they were at instead of wearing their yuppie suits. That would have been a little gayer.
Yeah, nobody wants to see yuppie suits at the bar.
I know. This is like the coolest bar I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I would love to go there. Those girls with the guns, like just voguing with
The
the
Charlie's
guns.
Angels girls.
Yes, this is fucking sick. That was amazing. 10 out of 10. The
Again,
devil gay boy dancer. I'll think of him always. I'll always regret not dressing up as him. Maybe I'll just do that for fun sometime.
I just want to party in the 80s.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
It would be so
Yeah.
fun.
What you're saying though, Chelsea, this is related to gay things, like that they wanted it to be in this like fantasy New York city that's like outside of the reality and not having all these different things that like ground it, like with the Reagan thing and like having more media from the 80s. I understand why they did that because it is a sort of like a surreal, it's not a surreal movie, but it's like not based totally in reality. There's some outlandish things like how could he ever get away with these murders when he's trailing blood down the street? Like when there's so much evidence of him being a weirdo freak, when there's all these bodies in the closet and all this stuff, like literal skeletons in the closet. Like obviously we're a little bit outside of reality here, but I do think that it does like a disservice to like some of the themes in the movie by like not totally ignoring, but like sort of ignoring the AIDS crisis that was going on at that time and like separating it from the political nature of that era because it was so, especially in New York, it was so rife with, there's just so much going on. I think that really adds to like the gay subtext here and could really be informative to Patrick Bateman's character, but the movie is the movie and it's not the book. And the book is there for a reason and the movie is there for a reason and they're different interpretations of the same thing, but like they can do it a different way. But I would have loved to see that being shown a little bit more. But again, I have not read the entirety of the book, and so maybe they don't do that then.
Who
But
knows?
Bono gives them an erection.
I do think the time periods that both came out in probably had a big role in that. the American Psycho book came out in 1991, so it is a couple years after 1987 when it is set. But you can imagine that he probably started working on it around that time. So maybe it was like reflective of the era as he was writing it. And then the movie comes out 9 years after that, 13 years later after the movie is set. So it maybe no longer felt like it needed to be speaking to the time period and like current events in the same way that the book did, as much as it was now like speaking to this like culture of masculinity and everything like that.
Yeah, I think it would have changed the focus of the movie. It might have made it less marketable, unfortunately, as
For
well in
sure.
that time
Yeah.
period.
Once you go mainstream with a big movie, maybe you need to be more subtextual with your queer elements for the majority of it, but they
In the year
sure are still
2000, I
there.
guess so. Yeah,
Hidden in plain sight, baby.
that's like. Also, Lewis is such a beautiful queen, and I'm obsessed with him. And I love all of his outfits, and I love his red pocket square, and I love his little hairdo, and I love
Oh,
that
I
he
hate
wears
his
what he
hair, but I
wants.
love
Yeah, he's
that
fab.
I love he's doing
I
his
mean,
own thing.
oh yeah, the hairdo like is not flattering, but I'm glad that he is wearing it. And I
Yeah.
love him walking down the street with his gal pal. That's not another girl that he's dating instead of Courtney. He is definitely just like has a hot, cool lesbian friend, and they're walking down the street together.
Or like
Talking
that's his
about something
hag or whatever.
outrageous, by the way. Yeah, this is yeah. They literally say the term fag hag in the book too, so maybe that's her. But yeah, also would have been a great movie for F Slur November. Too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These
It's always
80s
with us.
macho movies love to I mean, it was so prevalent in the 2000s. But yeah, they really tossed it in there.
They really did. Any other gay thoughts you'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
Well, I do have more gay thoughts to share.
Okay. Speak quickly, my queen.
Yeah, my main notes are Patrick Bateman is in love with Timothy Bryce. He likes that Evelyn is fucking Tim Bryce. Tim Bryce is the only interesting person that he knows. That when he gets so heated and breaks into a sweat is when he says he prefers Van Patten's business card, and he goes, I can't believe he prefers Van Patten's to mine. There are no girls
'Cause
with good
that's his crush.
personalities. They do coke together in the bathroom, and the guy that one stall over calls them fags. And or they call him a fag or whatever, and it's like, oh, that guy's. But okay. And then again, his moment with Lewis where he just like starts sweating and freaking out, it like completely shocks him out of his bloodlust. He has to like wash his hands and process. And he loves lesbians, and I think that is in a completely wholesome way that I'm not gonna examine any further.
There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of evidence. It's beautiful.
He's an
Not quite as-
ally and he's in the community.
Of course. Of course, of course. Okay. Now we've shared all of our gay thoughts. We're moving on to Matthew Lillard. Where would he fit in this film? I think he would be a natural fit as one of the yuppies because he is also a youthful professional at the time when this movie came out, and he would just be the really tall one that they're all jealous of because he was so tall.
Yeah, you could toss him into any crowd scene and he'd blend right in.
No, he would have been Marcus, the one that
Oh, he gets
Jared
confused
Leto
for?
keeps mistaking Christian Bale for.
No, okay, yes, I love that, but I also want him to be the boyfriend of not Courtney,
Vanden.
Evelyn's
Or
Vanden,
whatever her name
Evelyn's
is.
cousin's boyfriend with
Oh,
the
yeah.
crazy like emo 80s hair. Like or not, it's not emo, but like is that new wave? I don't know. I don't know the trends of the 80s, but he's got the like crazy long black sticky outy hair. I just want to see Maddie Lily in that outfit, and I think he'd slay in it.
I think he was already in the movie though. We just didn't see him because he played the maitre d' at Dorsia that Patrick Bateman refuses to blow so that they can get a reservation.
Mm.
Oh my god, you're right. No, that was him. So sad that they cut his scene. Just a
So
real
sad.
disgusting
Yeah.
film.
They decided that Dorsha had to exist in name only, could never be shown because it has to be one of those things where it's like the mecca of all dinner places.
Yeah.
And as soon as they show it, it'll break the illusion because whatever you're imagining is gonna be different than whatever they show you.
Yeah.
But trust that Matthew Lillard is the maitre d' there. Maitre d'.
Maître d'. Okay. Yeah, that feels like a good place for him. A lot of good options. That brings us to the dumb bitch. Who's the dumbest bitch of all in this movie? And it's Patrick for being a bad boy who kills people and does evil things a lot of the time, but it's also, Paul Allen for not having facial awareness at all at any time and thinking that he's going on a mandate with a certain man and he's just exposed himself in this way. You got to make sure you know who you're having dinner with, friend. I don't know what to say.
I know. I mean, it was so smart of Patrick Bateman because it really threw off the investigation. Um, sort of. But I think Harold Howard also deserves a nomination for similar reasons because it's like not only does he not know he's talking to Patrick Bateman when he's talking about Patrick Bateman, he keeps calling him Davis, but also he's like, I had dinner with Paul Allen, and it's like, I don't think that you did, girl. And he thinks the whole thing is just a joke. What a funny joke. So I don't know. I mean, Jared Leto, I hate, so I'm happy to give it to him, and I'm happy he got
I
killed
love
so
that you
quickly.
call
But
him Jared Leto. I think that's so
Yeah.
special that you call him Jared Leto.
maybe
I
that's what
wasn't
he
going to say
deserves.
anything, but now I've had to.
Well,
It's Jared Leto. It's
I don't
okay.
respect him enough to pronounce his name or learn how.
He's a terrifying guy. He's a literally terrifying guy. I am scared of him and I don't want to say more than that because I don't want to be killed. Um anyway. Oh, okay. This is unrelated, but this is the place where my brain decided to remember it. One of my favorite parts of the entire movie, besides the beautiful shot of the Twin Towers, was when he is having his crazy rampage. He just blew up all the cop cars and he runs into his building. Air quotes.
Yeah.
But it's not his building because they have a shot that establishes this earlier. There are 4 office buildings. He works in one of them. They all look the exact same. There's just like it looks like just a cityscape shot. But he runs into the wrong building. The front desk guy calls him Smith, calls
Mr.
him the wrong
Smith.
fucking name. It's so sure. Big smile on his face. He shoots him. One, because I think mostly that one was because he called him the wrong name. I feel like that one might have been because he then called the wrong person one too many times. And then like him running into the other office and that time he doesn't kill anyone because he's finally in the right place. I just thought that was hilarious and like really on the nose with the whole everything they were trying to do, and I loved it. And then now it's time for 9 out of 5. Sorry, I just wanted to bring up that part. I just want to bring up that part, and
His
the
gun
normal part of the
rampage is so
podcast was already
crazy
over.
silly.
It's so
It's
funny.
so crazy
Like
silly.
when he blows up the cops, and he even is like looks at his gun like,
Whoa.
what? Even he doesn't believe what he's seeing at that point because he's really lost the plot at that point.
Trying to feed
Anyway.
the cat into the ATM. Uh-oh, I'm getting caught. I better pull out my gun that I've had this whole time and shoot the cat. Crazy.
Well,
he doesn't shoot the cat. He
knives
shoots
out
the old woman. Anyway, yeah.
Of course.
9 out of 5.
can't
This
have-
movie on IMDb has a 7.6 out of 10. And on Rotten Tomatoes, it only has 68%, which is fresh, but 68% from critics and 85% fresh from audiences. It did do a little bit of the festival circuit in terms of awards, but it didn't like hit any of the big ones. So as far as I can tell, this really was like a low budget film that while it has a stacked cast, it grew momentum as a cult classic over time. Can anybody
Mhm.
speak to that?
I did not do research on the critical reception of the film.
Then we just have to assume that what I said is correct.
Everything Chelsea says.
I believe
right.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Who wants to go first on this one? I'm still percolating.
I'll go. I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5. It's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Fucking yeah.
this movie is so funny, and it's like, it's this whole thing. It's like, this movie isn't a horror movie, but this movie is horrifying in the way that, like, because people act like this. Like, this is, again, men idolize this man, horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But, like,
yeah.
the movie is so good, and Christian Bale is so good in this movie. And I will say, though, I was so annoyed with how often they talked about reservations.
I loved how often they talked about reservations.
I loved it, but it was so annoying.
Oh, you hate the book.
Second rewatch, because I watched it basically like back to back. I was like, oh my god.
No,
They
apparently
start yelling at that one point.
me,
Why is everything about reservations?
I won't go somewhere unless we have a reservation.
I mean, that's what he falls back on when he's freaking out in that moment. That's like the only thing he can say.
His takeaways are, we need a reservation and I have to go return some videotapes.
Well, you know why they need a reservation? It's because they can't face being denied in person. Like, they won't face the humiliation of being rejected like that. So they have to have the sickest reservation because they know they'll get in and they know that they have the pull to get there. So it's like safety and clout all in one. So that makes a lot of sense.
It's like that moment with Evelyn where he's like, I'm paralyzed thinking we're going to get a bad table, but phew, it's fine. We've got a good table.
Exactly. It's all about perception of others, not what is actually going on inside. But also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, yeah, I was talking to Adam about the book today because he's read the book. And I was like, I'm going to try to listen to the whole thing today. And he's like, oh, well, there's one chapter. It's like an hour long. And it's just him trying to get a reservation the whole time. Apparently there's like a whole chapter and I was like, oh, cool. I can fast forward through that part to save a little time. Didn't get there. But yeah, so I don't know. That part might kill you if you read the book,
I want to go
Sydney.
to Dorsha. I was like, she's going to die.
Yeah, she's gone, girl.
She's going to die because he can't get a reservation there and it's going to kill him.
Yeah. Like, you can't choose the hardest one. Yeah, I think that I'm right there with you, Sydney. I feel like maybe I want to give it a little higher. I'll give it a 4.6 because I do think that this is, again, like you just said, riotously funny. Like, such an interesting movie, such a, like, just a skewering depiction of like a moment in time for culture in New York and for men in this industry, and also just like it's really interesting how it's being adapted again. Is that true, by the way, now by Luca Guadagnino? Did that get confirmed? Let me just
I think that there were conversations about it because I do remember recently looking at a tweet from Patrick Schwarzenegger responding to rumors that Austin Butler was attached to it and being like, come on, man, leave some stuff for the rest of us. And Patrick Schwarzenegger would not be bad casting necessarily in a reboot. I don't know that it's moving forward, but there definitely were talks at one point.
I just think that this would be like an amazing like time to do a revamp of this movie. It would be a painful time to do it because of the way this movie has been taken and twisted and turned into fuel for a nasty fucking like misogynistic fire for men looking to find some sort of like, I don't know, savior, person to idolize. to feel secure.
Because again, they can't
It,
come up with any individual choices for themselves. They just have to copy what they're being told as alpha male.
Exactly. And also, I think it would be incredibly timely right now because if you watch the movie twice in one day, like Sydney and I did, you noticed how many times Trump and Ivana, or
Yeah.
it's Ivana,
Is
were
Ivana sitting over there at
mentioned.
that table? Yeah.
And that's a big part of the book apparently too, because at that time, the time that it was written, Trump was the like be all end all of this like horrible trope for men who is just like all about being rich, all about being seen, all about being like a fancy businessman. He is the Patrick Bateman in this movie. He was handed everything to him by his father and doesn't know how to actually be a good businessman. So he is like the like prime example of this terrible person that they're depicting, and he's being called out on the daily like every moment in this movie, and to have him be the president when the new one comes out, I just think that there'd be something interesting to say and to do there. So anyway, sorry we got into the conversation about the possible remake, but 4.6.
No, that's interesting though, because I was like, I wonder if they would have to not acknowledge Trump at all, but to have him literally in his role as president be like canonical within the movie could have some very interesting things to say about what these people aspire to do and be, especially in light of Patrick Bateman's like political speech at the fancy dinner with the metal menus and Vanden there and
And
her
the
artist
anti-Semitism
boyfriend
and like all that
to
kind
be
of stuff.
like, we need
Yeah, and the
traditional moral
overt
values but social
racism.
consciousness and like blah blah blah. The way he's like positioning himself as like it's like it's like he's pitching himself as the next president almost, as like he's the middle of the road candidate that could bring them all together. um and to have the person that they hold up as like the 80s yuppie success story or ideal or whatever be elevated into that position gives them a whole new social capital maybe, that could be examined and broken down to again be like, and what does this really give you? Are you still empty inside and it still all means nothing?
No, totally. I would be open to a sequel at this time. Or not a sequel.
A remake.
Sorry. A remake at this time. I think Luca could do a good job. I trust him.
I think it
Especially
could
because
be.
he does well with gay shit, and maybe, get a little more shine on that part of this shit. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't even have to be Patrick Bateman. I think it could be a spiritual sequel in the sense that it's like there could be like talk of the characters from this movie as like people who came before them or whatever without needing to be like Patrick Bateman's son or what, you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be that. It could just be like a new, it doesn't need to be the same character so much as another examination in the same world, but updated. But it could be Patrick Bateman.
Totally.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty much same as you guys. I'm also gonna give it 4.5 knives out of fives. I didn't remember how this movie ended, and I liked the ending a lot. I think it is really interesting the way that it dialogues with these ideals of success and the person that you have to be, and what is left for you to have when you're just copying everything around you and trying to mimic what you think life is supposed to be instead of having authentic experiences for yourself. And again, I don't think, I mean, I guess maybe he likes killing, but he clearly doesn't feel fulfilled by it. So again, I think that's just another attempt for him to try and feel something. I don't know. I think it's a super interesting movie. I'll probably continue to think about it for a while. I don't know when the next time I'll watch it is necessarily.
I need a break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very fair.
Too many times in one day.
But I do think that I don't know. I don't want to say that the people who uphold this movie as alpha male whatever could benefit from watching it because again, I don't think that they're going to take away the right message from it or really engage with the text of the movie meaningfully at all. But I think if they did, that would be a good thing for them, because it
Yeah.
certainly is not an aspirational film.
No, not even close. What an interesting look into people who watch a movie on mute. How interesting. Maybe they didn't have, maybe they listened, they got a version of it that wasn't in the language that they speak and they didn't have subtitles. And so maybe that's how it happened. I have no idea. But, whew, Godspeed to you on your journey, I guess.
They were on their phones the whole
Um,
time. They just looked up to see visuals and went, slay.
He does look slay. So I get that. But you gotta, there's more than just the visual part of a movie. There's a lot, actually. Don't forget the sound design. Anyway, that closes the book on American Psycho. And I'm really glad we did this movie for our season finale. We gave you an extra long episode for our season finale because I knew we'd talk about this for 40 years. There's just so much to talk about. There's so many details. There's the critical reception. There's all of it. And it's rife with all of the things that we like to talk about. Gay subtext and a woman director being a baddie and
lesbian co-writer.
Exactly.
lesbian co-writer and man bush.
Very passionate about the
Very
man
important,
bush.
sorry.
Little puff.
Little puff, very important. But anyway, that is the end of season 5. Ooh,
Wow.
can you believe 5 seasons of Spooky Tuesday?
Oh my gosh.
That's kind of crazy. That's half of a decade, which makes me feel a little insane. But yeah, we've been doing this for 5 years and we've really enjoyed every moment with you, Spooky. So thank you for being along on this journey with us. If you have been there from the start, oh my God, DM us and let us know if you've listened to every episode, and we will, I don't know, help you find a therapist. I'm so sorry. But also, if you've just joined us on the journey, it doesn't matter wherever you started. We're happy that you're here with us now, and we're really, really excited to be going into our 6th season. Some might call it season 666 because it's October and it's spooky season. And this is a horror movie podcast. In case you
Did you
forgot.
know? This is our Super
Did you know?
Bowl.
This is our Super Bowl right now. This is everything. And so next week we're keeping with the theme. We're keeping with that 666. And who's gonna introduce it? Is it gonna be Chelsea?
I can, but I haven't seen it, so I kind of feel like a fraud.
Oh,
I think you should, Monica. Go back to back.
okay then. Okay, I'll do it. Next week, this is a movie that we have talked about doing on the pod 4,000 million times. And we've never done it. It's a classic. It's from the 70s, and that's where the real shit went down, baby. 1976. We're doing the OG Antichrist. I don't know actually if that's true. There might have been another Antichrist before, but we're talking about The Omen. And yeah, it's season 666. Okay, that's the joke. We're doing a devil movie. Do you get it? Are you understanding? It's a
Are you
theme.
picking
It's
up what we're putting
beautiful.
down?
I really would hope so because it's pretty overt. But yeah, this is a really great classic. I rewatched it recently leading up to The Last Omen when that came out, what, like 2 years ago now?
The first
And
Omen?
the first Omen, not the last Omen. So sorry. The last one is yet to happen. There could be another Omen at any time.
That
And
one's
let's
around
be
the corner
so
still. Yeah.
clear about that. I'm not shutting down the Omen franchise. I have
I've
no right
closed
to
the
do
door
so.
on the Omen franchise.
And
Yeah.
we're done here.
That's the
actually.
end. We haven't even done the first one. We can't click. Come on. But yeah, I'm excited for us to go down this road because I know, Chelsea, you haven't seen it. Sydney, have you?
I've seen it. I do not remember a single thing about it because I did a double feature of The Omen and The First Omen. And I think I
Oh,
fell
That's why I
okay, so
didn't
same.
see the first Omen, because I was like, I guess I should watch the OG first, and then I never got
No,
around to
because
it.
it's because I literally told you can't see the first Omen until you see the Omen.
Yeah,
Because
and she
it's
said that too, and I really
so-
wanted to see the first Omen, and so I was like, well,
So
I
you
guess
did
I'll
your
watch the
homework.
Omen.
Oh my god, good student.
Well, it's because and we'll talk about this more on the episode, but the first Omen I think did a really good job like bringing things in with this movie and made me respect the first Omen even more, which I wasn't primed to do because I had just seen the fucking Sydney Sweeney movie that was similar, Immaculate Conception, or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, that
Just
one.
called Immaculate, yeah.
Just Immaculate. It was a similar vibe, but not good. First Omen good. Anyway, that's it. That's it. We're doing the Omen. We're not doing Immaculate. Sorry, Sydney Sweeney. You got enough.
You're a
going on
controversial
right now.
figure right now, yeah.
We're not bringing you into Spooky
We're not
Tuesday
touching
verse
that.
at this time. We're not. I'm not touching that. Anyway, but it's the end of our 5th season. What a great opportunity for you to give us a compliment in the form of a 5-star review. You could say 5 years, 5 stars. It just makes sense. Congratulations. There you go. It's simple. It's beautiful. Or, some things are better left unsaid. And why not just give us a 5-star rating on Spotify? We love it. We appreciate it. And also, why not follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. And you can check out our website, www.spookytuesdaypod.com. One-stop shop for everything and anything you could think of. If you are wondering, you're like, whoa, I really think that Spooky Tuesday should do this movie. Guess what? We have done 253, 55? Is this 55?
55. Yeah, this is 55.
255 episodes. So we have covered more than 255 movies because we've done some double features in there. So we might have already fulfilled your wish, girl. So go to our website, go to our A to Z movie list, and you can look up any movie that you are thinking we should cover, and we might have already done it. So check that out. Also, we are having a beautiful link to our Patreon on there, and you can join us in a super secret, special, sacred place where we talk every day about random horror shit, random stuff in our lives. It's beautiful on our Discord, and we also are releasing trailer reactions twice a month and exclusive content every week, and it's very, very silly. So you thought it was silly now? It gets sillier. So you should check it out. And also we are on YouTube, and today, oh my god, is that what I think it is? Is that 3 Patrick Batemans?
Wrong. I'm Jane.
Who's
And
what's her
Jane!
name?
No, Jean.
Jean.
I was
Jean?
like, who the fuck is Jane? Well, I'm Marcus Halberstrom.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm Patrick Bateman, so
You're not
it's
Davis?
hard to tell us apart.
Davis?
It's
Mr.
hard.
Smith? Is
I'm
that
sorry.
you?
I'm sorry that I thought we were all the same person. We all just look exactly the same. It's
We
just,
do.
It's
Indistinguishable,
impossible to tell us
actually.
apart. Indistinguishable.
I think it's all of our
You'll
glasses.
Yeah. I think you'll only see that if you are on our YouTube channel, though. So you should subscribe and see beautiful, beautiful things. And at the end of the day, I have to say thank you so much for listening for 5 fucking years. We love you so much. And we will see you next Tuesday for season 666.
666. Bye, Spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.